It's Vice City vibes as BRB unloads in Miami tonight, ready to go for the final race of the regular season. The Gilbert's Fleet 250 is here and ready to set the chase field. Sam Dyer holds the final chase spot for now, but many behind are looking to take a huge swing and sweep into the chase themselves. Welcome to Pit Stop TV and the virtual Homestead, Florida. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV with Zach Murtis alongside, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage of the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series. Tonight's coverage from Miami is brought to you by the Buttkicker, by Ideal Lease, by Ascendance Trucking, by Sundance Pizza, by Maddox Graphics, and by Whiplash Simcams, and of course by Gilbert's Fleet this evening, as this is the Gilbert's Fleet 250. Zach, welcome one, welcome all, and welcome you to Homestead Miami Speedway. We were here recently for the major series, but with Indy cars, classic Indy cars on the racetrack. It is weird to say classic about 20-year-old Indy cars, but regardless, we were here recently, we saw some Indy car racing. These cars, aerodynamically, are very similar now to Indy cars, but bigger, heavier, a little bit less power, I believe, and they race so completely differently. What can we expect here tonight?
Oh, we're gonna expect. Oh my goodness, we're gonna expect a lot. There's a lot of storylines moving into tonight, especially at Homestead, which I like to dub one of the true ovals of stock car racing. As you can see, you take out all the road course layouts, Andrew. It is pretty much a perfectly symmetrical oval. However, is very different on different ends of the racetrack. A lot of the times you see drivers running completely different lines compared to turns 1 and 2. You see a lot of drivers running the bottom in 1 and 2 and the high line in 3 and 4. Or, depending on how they like it, they could switch that up. Or they could run the bottom all the way around or the top line all the way around, as a lot of sim racers have dubbed it the Larson line. Going into tonight, though, you will not be referring to me as Zach Murtis. Just want to make that perfectly clear. You will be referring to me as the human calculator.
Math is never our strong suit, Zach. That's a bold claim, but let's see how it goes. We'll be doing some math on the fly. Yeah, we'll be doing a lot of math on the fly. There we go. For this reason, here's a look at the point standings coming into tonight's race. Dustin Stallings, Ronnie Osmer, Johnny Wood Jr., Kyle Heath, Brendan Maddox, Christian Barnes, Zachary Brandvold, Gray Walker, Dakota Camper, they are all locked in. Even, yes, Richard Wolsifer is locked into the chase, realistically, based on points after missing the chase, I think. Or did he just get in last season? It was either him or Scott Fritz, and I forget which one got in.
He got in, but he was very, very far down the running order.
There you go. So Richard Wolsifer just barely made it in. This year, he can relax, or this season, he can relax going into the final race of the regular season. However, Jared Hughes, Sam Dyer, those are the two that are looking over their shoulder all night long tonight, trying to maximize what they can in the stages, trying to solidify themselves into the chase. Now, Jared Hughes has a much easier road to get into the chase tonight and lock in and be safe. Sam Dyer is in some trouble. It's going to be interesting to see just how big of a swing guys like Scott Fritz, Coulter Clark, Carl Pooler, Josh Parent, and even Matthew Selby can take a swing and try to get into the chase and try to move on by that 35 car. The big thing, Zach, the key to this race, and for those 5 or 6 drivers trying to make the chase, the key is going to be within the first 80 laps, maximizing stages 1 and 2. Maximize stage 1, that's 10 points. Maximize stage 2, that's 20 points. So if you're Scott Fritz, you're now 20 points up on where you come into the night. That's now 2 points ahead of Sam Dyer. If you're Coulter Clark or Carl Pooler, that would tie you with Sam Dyer. If you're Joshua Parent, that would put you just 13 back. Matthew Selby, you would be just 17 back. And even Evan Buttkicker is just close enough that maybe he could do it in the right circumstance. Even Andrew Rattel. Beyond that, I believe Braxton Skinner on down are mathematically out of this one.
So, I've been crunching so many numbers, and statistically speaking, tonight, the only drivers mathematically eligible based on current point situations, current car count rolling into tonight, is anyone from Matthew Selby up. Evan Buttkicker, I think on a normal night, would be mathematically eligible, and I think even on a normal night, Andrew Rattel would be mathematically eligible should we have a full field of 42 cars, or 43 cars, realistically speaking. But given how we are tonight, I think, mathematically speaking, Selby and up are the only ones still eligible, And even then, Selby and Parrott are in Hail Mary situations, so it's going to take a lot for them to get themselves above that cut line.
All it takes, though, Zach, is, I would say, even 10 to 15 stage points and about 10 to 15 spots up, and there's a realistic road into the chase for guys like Carl Pooler, Josh Parent, Matthew Selby, even Evan Patinko, if that was maybe 15 points and 25 spots in the race. And with 30 cars in the field so far, it's realistic. It's not, maybe not realistic, it's possible. I wouldn't say realistic just yet as practice comes to a close with Dustin Stallings on top over Scott Fritz and Ronnie Osmer. By the way, Scott Fritz from 19th to 13th in the standings just last week at Rockingham. I don't know who he paid, what ferries he paid off, but he found that golden horseshoe last week and got himself thrust into this chase battle. It'll be a lot of fun to watch what he can do here this evening, as he was nearly fastest in practice. Let's take a look at the schedule, the full season schedule for season number 4. We check in here at Miami, race number 13, August the 12th. Next week, we head out to Nashville to begin this season's chase. It's 5 weeks straight of championship racing: Nashville, Chicago Street Course, Talladega Super Speedway, California, and Las Vegas. I'm excited, Zach. These are 5 really good racetracks. They're going to put these drivers on the top pedestal to see how they can do if they can be the driver to win it all this season. There's going to be a new champion. It's only been Gavin Rogers and Mason Houseman now for 2 seasons in a row. There's going to be a new champion of this BRB Buttkicker Cup Series, and it's going to come through these final 5 races of the season.
What's really fun, and I've always loved this when it comes to the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series, is that they really give you a test of all strengths in that final 5 race stretch. They give you a 1.5 miles, they give you a road course, they give you a short track, they give you a super speedway. All things that can really test the mettle of these drivers.
Here's a look at the Gilbert's fleet, number 51 of Zachary King, as qualifying gets going down on the racetrack. Ronnie Osmer, brand new paint scheme for him, straight to the top of the board. Let's see what he can do here on lap number 2. We'll talk about weather in a moment. As you can tell, it is late day already. A lot of humidity in the air. It's going to be a hot and sticky day for these guys, as Osmer will bring his run to a close. Johnny Wood Jr., let's see what he can do. Just 8/1000th of a second low of that 15 car.
Qualifying at Homestead here, I think, is just going to be an interesting indicator, to say the least, because there are a lot of guys you think are going to be fast, but they don't show it in qualifying, Andrew, and they may not show it over in race pace, but you give them a situation where they get back into a corner, they just might surprise you as Johnny Wood Jr. comes across the line. I don't think that lap's going to count, even though he did tap the wall and went slower.
Ooh, Dustin Stallings got faster.
Yeah, he went a little faster. He puts himself up into 3rd.
Zachary King, top 10 already. What can he do on lap number 2? This is a home race for him. That's why it's the Gilbert's Fleet 250. Zachary King, will be talking to him later on in this race. Let's see, out of turn number 4 down to the start-finish line. It's going to be a 32.635, a little bit slower. He will not improve on that lap time. Brendan Maddox down through the grass. He will not improve. Dakota Camper into the pit lane. How about Cameron Gilmore nearly into the top 10? 11th quick in that number 10.
I think Scott Fritz is putting those cut line drivers on notice, putting that car P4 on the grid at the moment.
There he is.
He's still out there on a second lap. Let's see if he can't go faster. He's looking to point himself
down
in. Yeah, he's not going to be able to improve on that lap time. However, keeping an eye on the rest of our cut line participants to see Josh Parrott down in the 15th position, Coulter Clark in 13th. Those guys are all chasing, trying to make it in. There's the guy who's on the cut line right now. That's Sam Dyer. He's out on his first lap. And these are going to be the guys that we're just going to be paying attention to tonight, Andrew, how their battles are shaping up throughout this championship fight. And rolling into this last race of the regular season, it's going to be interesting, to say the least. Rolling across the line. Oh, Dyer's not even running a lap. He's practicing pit entry from the looks of it, or just spinning out.
He often starts from the rear of the field, so I can't imagine he's going to go for much of a qualifying lap here. But you saw him on the high banks there practicing pit entry. I think that's what he's going to do here and call it a day as far as qualifying goes. We've got a driver returning to the field this evening. Dakota Bly is back in the field here. This is really cool to see. the most popular driver at, I think, 2 seasons running now in this BRB Buttkicker Cup Series. Dakota Bly took a leave of absence, has now come back on a part-time basis the remainder of season number 4. The best friends, number 25 Ford Mustang, hitting the racetrack, Zach, with a brand new number font that we have not yet seen. This is pretty cool. Redacted Motorsports, they're back.
Hey, why can't we be friends, you know? I tried the pun. No. Yes, maybe.
I hear ya. I do believe best friends is relating to pets in this case. Anyways, Dakota Bly, not going to go for much of a lap. He'll begin his first lap, but we'll run out of time here, and Ronnie Osmer will put the 15 car on pole once again this season. He's done that a lot, I do believe, and it has been a season full of Ronnie Osmer at the top of the scoring pylon. In fact, he led a bunch of laps last week at Rockingham. In our Facebook post of who you got, he was one of the leading candidates. It was him, Dustin Stallings, or the field, and there were some Ronnie Osmer picks out there. Let's see what he can do this evening, starting from pole position. We told you we'd look at the weather conditions. You see now in the sim, the lights have come on. We're racing into the night for sure here. The weather conditions brought to you by Cody Williams Design. 75 degrees in the air, only 78 on track. That's because of all the partly cloudy skies and the wind being up at 17 miles per hour and the humidity, Zach, 95%. It's not that hot ambient temperature, but I can tell you, if you were here physically in real life right now, it would feel like at least 90.
Talk about slick. That's what it's going to be tonight, too. These guys are going to have a interesting challenge, to say the least, in front of them for this race. I can't even tell you how I'm even registering things right now, Andrew. It's looking like it's going to be a difficult race for these guys, to be perfectly honest, with how the track conditions shape up. And judging by my weather indication, it looks like it may cool down as the race goes on, especially as we get into the nighttime hours, but I don't know, Andrew. I think it's still going to be a tricky race for these guys.
Well, let's take a look at the Lucky Performance. Hang on. Lucky Performance starting grid. There we go. On pole, Ronnie Osmer, as mentioned, in that 15 car. Zachary Brandvold from second place on the starting grid this evening. Starting from third place, it'll be Johnny Wood Jr. in car 75. He's a threat to win anywhere. Watch him tonight. But also, Scott Fritz. I have a feeling, Zach. I have one of those feelings. You know how I get when I get those feelings. I have one of those feelings. Maybe Scott Fritz can win tonight. We'll see. Dustin Stallings from 5th place. He was on our Who You Got post alongside Ronnie Osmer in the field. Gray Walker, what about that? 6th place starting position, I believe, to match what is, I think, an 8th place points position coming into tonight. Kyle Heath, he's high up in the points. He'll start from 7th. Richard Walsifer locked into the chase. He'll start from 8th. Zachary King, top 10. He'll start from 9th. And Brendan Maddox will roll off from 10th.
Brendan Maddox looking to recover from last week and put himself in a good position to win again. Cameron Gilmore rolls off right behind him with Dakota Camper right on the back bumper. The 10 and the 3 rolling off 11th and 12th. 13th and 14th, you'll find Coulter Clark and Josh Anderson. And 15th and 16th on the starting grid. Right behind them, you'll find Josh Parrott and Carl Pooler, 2 drivers below the cut line looking to point themselves in. Cody Dorsey and Jared Hughes in the 17th and the 18th position. And then rolling off 19th and 20th, you'll find Braden Wingerden and Caden Perkins.
Finally back in 21st spot, Evan Patinko. Braxton Skinner will start from 22nd, starting 23rd, Cole Lewis. Adam Buzzio is slated for 24th, but he'll be in the admin booth tonight. Starting 25th will be Andrew Rattel. Sam Dyer will start from 26th. He'll bump up 1 row. Starting 27th will be Cameron Carden, then Dan Stockero in 28th. Finally, Dakota Bly and Jason Bottoms at the back of the field. Quickly, Whiplash SimCam's race details on your screen now. This is a 165 lap race, 247.5 miles. Stages at 40, 80, and then the end 165. 6 chain sets in the pit lane. Here we go. Zach will leave that on screen for just a moment. We're about to get the Gilbert's Fleet 250 underway. Here we go. We are starting at Miami. We are racing at Miami to turn number 1. And down the back straightaway, the lights are on. These guys are up to high speed and high gear to turn number 3. Ronnie Osmer leading the way.
The challenge on the outside is where we'll see these guys form as look up top. You see Scott Fritz ripping that top line. He's going to try to go for second. Wow, that was close. Zachary Brandvold throws the block on the 48 early.
Brandvold blocking that 48 car for now. Johnny Wood Jr. down low in the basement. Right in the middle level of the house, it's Dustin Stallings. In the attic, you got Scott Fritz and Richard Wolfsfer off of turn number 2. Wolfsfer breaks top 5.
Wolfsfer already locked in to the end of the regular season, locking into that postseason format. He's trying to just see if he can't get a few extra points to his name, point himself in a better direction than he was last season, and see if he can improve on those finishing positions of last season. Brandvold hanging on to that second spot, though, as Osmer goes purple through lap number 3. I think we're already starting to settle into a decent run here as these guys start to get a little bit more single file. I say that, they were 3 wide further back.
Dustin Stallings to the inside here of Scott Fritz. This is a battle for third position. There they go through the banking. Stallings down low, Fritz up high as they work off of turn number 4, careening back down the banking towards the start-finish line. Here comes Stallings down the inside of Brandvold. Oh, loose goes Stallings. He goes down to the apron. He nearly loses control of the race car. Great catch by a driver that we usually figure is going to be up front battling for the win. That was nearly a big moment.
That could have been a bigger moment than it was. That was scary, scary stuff. He's going to try to fall in, though, as Zachary King rolls on by him, takes away at 7th spot. Zachary King moving up, actually. He's moved up 2 spots since the drop of the green flag. And Stallings is going to charge back on that inside line. More than likely take this away as King taps the wall down the back straightaway, but he's not clear to fall in. Looks like Stallings will get in front of Johnny Wood Jr. Here comes Gray Walker to the inside of Zachary King.
Gray Walker
Johnny
with a move. Johnny Wood up into the wall, 3 wide off of turn number 4. Kind of sinking back in the top 10 here, showing you what's going on throughout some of the field. Single file all the way back behind this, though. The racing is up front at the moment as there's a side-by-side right here with Kyle Heath and Richard Wolfsfer. Wolfsfer coming off the wall. Pass made.
I think Wolfsfer is a little bit on attack mode as well. You remember, Andrew, he started last week's race on the pole, led it for about 3/4 of a lap, and then pretty much got spun into the pit lane. Never even got a caution for it, so the man was trying to dig himself out of a hole from lap 1, ended up going laps down, ended up finishing the race just around 20 laps down. Never even really had a chance to fight for what he thought was going to be a great race for him. So I think now, rolling into this week, knowing you're still locked in, knowing you have a chance to go after that championship over these next 5 races, it's time to just put yourself out there, put yourself on notice, show these guys that you are here to fight.
Battle kicking up behind these guys. It'll be Cameron Gilmore and Johnny Wood Jr. across the stripe. Side by side they go to turn number 1. Look who's right behind them, Zach. Somebody trying to stink up the battle for Sam Dyer. Josh Parent trying to make his way into the chase here tonight. He's got to beat guys like Jared Hughes. He's got to beat guys like Sam Dyer. And there goes Zach King to the apron.
Oh my goodness. That's a spot up for Josh Parent. This is to the inside of Johnny Wood Jr. That's a quick battle starting to fuse out. King seems to keep it straight. We're still rolling. Parent's going to clear. That 90 car's on attack mode right now. Moving up through the field. He started 15th. He's up to 9th. Out of positions gained, he's got to be one of the top runners. I think one of the other drivers at the moment who would be a top gainer would have been Zachary King, but he just lost a ton of spots right there.
So Parent up 6 spots, working on 7 here with Cameron Gilmore. Maybe even 8 if he can get to Gray Walker. Looks to the inside of those 2 Toyotas down in turns 3 and 4 and might be able to get the spot off of Gilmore. Very close off the corner. Real tight there off the corner, but they figure it out. Parent now into turn number 1. Scott Fritz is still doing the most out of guys trying to make the chase here tonight. He's up in 3rd place. In the wall, Carl Puller. Big problems for last week's driver of the day.
And he's one of the drivers that is on the cut line right now. He's below the cut line by about 20 points. His point situation is an interesting situation, to say the least, but that is helpful for guys like Scott Fritz, Joshua Parent, Coulter Clark. Oh my goodness, that looked like a right hook right to the wall.
He was racing with Coulter Clark. Wonder if maybe Coulter was involved. Off the corner here, Carl on the outside, got loose.
Oh, he snapped loose.
Overcorrected.
That is going to hurt hard for Carl, but that is going to help a lot of these guys settle back in from a short run, reset, refocus, get a heat cycle on these tires.
Just snapped back around on him.
Did he not do this 2 or 3 times at Rockingham?
I mean, those were different. He was, you know, jerking on the wheel to avoid crashes. This is, he got loose off the corner and yanked it back to not hit Coulter. And he can come back from this. He can come back from this. This is going to be definitely a bump in the road for him. But if he shows that same perseverance he showed a week ago, he's not out of this thing.
My interesting take on it, though, is that that's the 3rd time in 2 races that he's done a very similar incident. I mean, I understand they're 2 totally different incidents, but at the same time, the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Jason Bottoms into the pit lane. Braxton Skinner did not pit. Dakota Bly is in the pits. A lot of these drivers, I think, are just pitting, well, coming down the pit lane here so they can go back into the pit lane when the caution is over. But in the case of Carl Pooler, he's, of course, in for service. Jason Bottoms also took service. There is Pooler's machine. And Brendan Maddox, oddly, just got a wave around.
He started from the pit lane, apparently. I'm not too sure what was going on.
Ah, you know what? Yes. So some penalty news. This is worth talking about, actually, Zach. I don't want to give it too much attention and too much conversation just because it is a sensitive subject, but there, of course, was an intentional crash at the end of last week's race, Rev Sim Shop 200 at Rockingham. And, of course, we saw Isaiah Sutherland take action on Brendan Maddox. Isaiah Sutherland has been removed from the league going forward, and Brendan Maddox was actually issued a penalty as well, and I believe he had to start from the pit lane as a result of that penalty, and I'd forgotten about that. So that would be what happened to car 23, had to start from the pit lane. As far as Caden Perkins goes, I'm not really sure why he's 5 laps down. I would guess that he likely missed the call and could not start the race right away, but I'm not really sure. Up front, though, down to turn number 3, Zach, we have got a field of 29 total ready to go for our first restart of the evening. There on the start of the race, I hesitated for a second. I wanted to call it a restart, but it wasn't. This will be our first restart of the night, with Ronnie Osmore choosing the bottom, Zachary Brandvold choosing the top, Scott Fritz choosing the bottom, and Richard Wolsifer choosing the top lane. That'll be your top 4, with Kyle Heath in 5th, Dustin Stallings in 6th, Ray Walker, Cameron Gilmore, 7th and 8th, Josh Parent, and Jared Hughes, the rest of your top 10. Down to the restart zone. Green flag, we're racing once again. Off of turn 2, Scott Fritz up high. Heath made a big move there on that first lap from the restart. He's now got Brandvold to his inside. Stalling is going to fill that gap down low as well. Heath way up the racetrack and in the wall.
Way up the racetrack. Everyone single file, mostly on the bottom line through the top 10. See Jared Hughes up top, fighting with Joshua Parent. They're side by side behind, as Wolsifer seeing what he can do on that bottom line, making it work in his favor. Way up to the wall, I believe. Yes, that is Brandvold. He's going to be side by side with Dustin Stallings right up in front of the field. Oh, spinning off of turn 2. That's Brendan Maddox.
Brand new paint scheme, mx-wraps.com. As Maddox Graphics has rebranded to MX Wraps beginning this week. And unfortunately, Brendan has gone for a spin.
These quick cautions are going to be, honestly, in my opinion, frustrating for a few drivers. And I feel like you can kind of understand what I'm talking about here, Andrew, because there are a lot of drivers in this league, and I find Brendan Maddox to be one of them, as drivers that have a lot more pace over the course of a long run. I find Maddox tends to struggle a little bit on these short runs. You see him getting loose and correcting that car. I feel like it just adds a little bit more to my point, even though it was a bit of a mistake.
Well, it'll give Caden Perkins a chance to get a lap back in that Ryan Holleyall Stormseeker number 19. This is a YouTube channel. I'm going to give a couple shout outs here out of this caution. This is a YouTube channel you should pay attention to, especially going into the rest of summer and the beginning of fall and winter. This is going to be a YouTube channel you definitely want to watch very, very soon. Ryan Holleyall on YouTube. This is not at all a sponsored promotion. We're not partnered or anything. I'd love to be, because I respect the heck out of the work they do. But Ryan Holleyall, basically a free weather service. And I'm going to say probably better than national television weather coverage. Better than your weather app. These are meteorologists and weather nerds, if you will, that are in the Y'all Squad and ready to educate you on what's going on around the United States as far as weather goes. So if you're anywhere in the U.S. watching this broadcast, it'll apply to you, because they talk about weather across the entire country, and especially going into hurricane season and everything. This is going to be a channel you want to pay attention to if you're in the southeast for hurricane season. Anywhere as far as tornadoes go, snow coming up later on in the fall and winter, this is going to be a channel you want to watch. But also, Zach, I have made a deal, and I had to think about it, but I have made a deal with this gentleman here. Would you like to have any kind of inkling of the deal?
Sure.
Well, I'm going to tell you. So, Zach King, for the last season or so, has had a side project. And you might already know what I'm talking about if you're familiar with the league. He's got a Twitter account, or an X account, named Saab Bakris. And it's a parody of Bob Pockrass, but he puts in legitimate work. And he makes an effort for it to be a relatively professional parody account that reports on BRB Racing League news. And I told him that if he put out a presser, a brief presser, just a brief tweet even, about Whiplash Racing, our team, Zach, having an announcement tomorrow at noon, I told Zach that we would go ahead and shout out Saab Bakris. So it's an X account or Twitter, Saab, S-O-B, Bakris, B-O-C-K-R-A-S-S. He reports on everything going on within the league, and we do have an announcement at Whiplash Racing coming tomorrow at 12 Eastern. You'll want to keep an eye out for that. It's a driver announcement. That's all I'm going to tell you. It's a driver announcement here at the team, and we're excited for it for season number 5 in the BRB Racing League. But wanted to give Zach a moment. He puts in a lot of work as we go back. Green flag racing in the restart zone. Nearly 20 laps in, nearly halfway through stage 1. Side by side down off turn number 2. Scott Fritz pulling away. Dustin Stallings pulling away, but Brandvold holding down the anchor way down low. He'll push up just a little bit as he's side by side with Richard Wolsifer.
Hard racing up off the corner. Trying to find where they can go in the grand scheme of things at the moment. Side-by-side battles are benefiting this gentleman right here, Scott Fritz, who's trying to create the gap back to the cut line. Saw a bunch of cars have some smoke back there, tapping off the wall. Now we all move single file on that bottom line.
It's going to be hard to win. It's going to be hard to win this first stage because of where that 15 car started this stage from. Of course, position number 1. He had the track position going into the run. He's running the fastest laps of the race. upset a little bit there by Stallings. But it's going to be hard for Fritz to get there, but he is putting in some genuine work here, Zach. If we pull up the Delta graphic, bottom right of your screen, there he goes, pulling down the straightaway because he ran the top lane, closing in on Osmer. And he's going to run down low through 3 and 4. This is one of those racetracks, Zach, that's just a little bit different end-to-end. It looks the same end-to-end, but it's just a little different. The radii of the corners are a little bit different, and that means you got to drive them different. So you see top lane through 1 and 2, bottom lane through 3 and 4, back to the top here in 1 and 2.
Well, this is going to be a hard situation for guys like Coulter Clark, Carl Puller, Josh Parent. If Scott Fritz comes out here and wins this stage, you can kiss a lot of the mathematical eligibility for these guys goodbye. And I wholeheartedly mean that. Especially guys like Josh Parent and Matthew Selby, who are the furthest out trying to throw this Hail Mary. They are in excess of 30 points. Should they have an excess of 40 points by the end of stage 1, that's it. It's curtains for their chances to make the postseason. So I think what they're hoping for is to either find some speed or hope Scott Fritz has a problem. And I don't think that's going to be a case as he's going around the outside trying to pass Ronnie Osmer.
Well,
in the wall.
Keep in mind, Zach, their point delta to Sam Dyer is 30 to 40 points. Their point delta to Scott Fritz is much lower. There's a problem in the backfield. Dakota Camper slow into turn 3. Lost a lot of positions. He was just around the top 10. He's now down in 23rd spot, back with Dan Stockaro, Cole Lewis, and Dakota Bly. So problems there for the 3-car. But back up to Scott Fritz. Remember, those guys are only about 20 back of Scott. So yes, it would hurt for him to go up and get 10, even 9 or 8, but it would not be the end of the world just yet. There you go, Stallings to the wall in turn 3 and 4. They'll try and get a run here on Fritz down the front stretch, and it's going to work. Here comes a run from that double lot. Run to the inside.
What guys like Josh Parent, Matthew Selby need to see. Coulter Clark, Carl Puller. Fritz losing positions.
And if you want to check in on Sam Dyer, he is down in the 28th position. The final car on the lead lap. This has been his MO all season long. Run towards the back of the field, let everybody else take care of themselves, keep the car in one piece, and have a decent finish. He's got 0 bonus points all season long, but he's got the 7th best average finish, I believe. I'll have to check that again, but I do believe that was a stat coming into tonight's 7th best average finish, as Scott Fritz has a problem. Oh my goodness, Zach.
Oh my goodness.
This is it for Scott. He's done.
They're all over the place trying to avoid him. Oh my goodness. What did we just witness?
Well, we didn't witness it. That's the problem. He's going to go up the racetrack here trying to keep that car down low. He'll come around to the pit lane. This is huge for the chase. The closest competitor to Sam Dyer goes up in smoke here in stage number 1. Couldn't even get to the end of the first stage without this happening. This is huge.
This is a perfect situation for guys like Joshua Parent, who's in the top 10 right now, Andrew. This could really, really shake up that points total.
Forget that. It's a perfect situation for Sam Dyer. That's his closest threat. It takes a much larger swing for anybody else to point in tonight. Let's see what happened to Scott out of turn number 2. Racing with racing with Dustin Stallings. Maybe a little bump, and boom, in the wall.
Same thing that happened to Carl Puller, but in the corner and a harder angle into that outside retaining wall.
Let's see, was there a bump? Yes.
Yeah, he sent him too hard into the corner.
I don't know. I mean, I would think that was off, or before he got off the gas. Let's listen.
No, it was. The problem is...
Let's listen. Hang on. Listen for the bump. There. Okay, he was still in the gas. So go ahead.
It's just, my main thing is kind of like it gives you that little bit of a... well, we'll have to talk about it later. Caution's out on the racetrack.
Jared Hughes. Big problems for somebody trying to make the chase.
Jared Hughes is above the cut line right now, actually. He is above Sam Dyer.
But this could take him out. He's got some big damage. Let's see what happened. Going all the way back to the start-finish line or so. going into the lap. This is also out of turn 2. Calamity corner tonight. Let's see what happened to him. Loose.
Just gets loose. But he spins to the bottom here, locks it down, does a great job of locking it down, taps it off the wall, gets a little bit of right or left front damage. We saw a couple of cars sliding into frame right there. I'm wondering if something happened on track too.
Here's the hit for Jared Hughes.
Great job locking it down. That could have been far worse than it was.
My only thing, Zach, as we watch this back one more time, is so he gets loose, he's pedaling it, trying to save it. Right here, all right, lock the brakes up, now release the brakes, let the wheels roll, let the car come back around. Instead, he kept it locked down. He could have avoided that damage. That said, I don't think it's going to be too big. And you mentioned it, there was some extracurricular happening around him. Let's see what happened with that. It was Evan Buttkicker. He slammed the wall. He might be done.
Who was that sliding way across the track into the apron, though?
Let's see, Buttkicker, same thing. Loose, loose, loose. Snaps, boom, in the wall. And somebody else went way down low, I think to miss it.
That could have been bad for Coulter Clark right there, too. He was right next to Buttkicker.
Well, let's get back to live picture because we've got some pit stops, Zach. Ronnie Osmer has pitted. This is a big, big moment for the front of the field. This means the stage is up for grabs from the pole sitter. He's pitted and taken tires, so he's setting up for stage 2 and maybe a run to the end of the race. He's not worried about those stage points. He just wants to notch another win under his belt. Josh Anderson also taking service, 4 tires down and away for him. Braxton Skinner, same story. Cameron Carden, same story as well. Sam Dyer also taking 4 tires and fuel back on the racing surface. Dakota Bly also 4 tires back out there. Andrew Rattel 4 tires and what looks to be some damage repair. Jared Hughes, some damage repair. Let's see, the left side of that car looks okay. He might be all right.
See, though, this is going to be an interesting situation for the guys that stayed out. Look at that top 5, Andrew. These are guys who have secured spots into the chase for this season, but there are also guys chasing those spots now that they have open competition out of this race. You've got Dustin Stallings inheriting the lead. Kyle Heath has moved up to 2nd. Zachary Brandfield still holding up there. Richard Wolsifer, Cameron Gilmore is up there trying to turn some hot laps. Zachary King's made it back up inside the top 10. Joshua Parents right there as well. They all stayed out, all trying to see if they can capitalize on this track position and potentially gain some extra stage points. And with guys like Sam Dyer, 26 on the racetrack, and currently way out of stage point contention, this is big for these guys trying to get in.
And let's be clear here. Stallings, Heath, Brandvold, Wolfsfeld, they're all into the chase. Gilmore and King mathematically out. Parent trying to get in. Dorsey out. Wood, he's locked in. Walker, he's locked in. Then Maddox and Camper are locked in. So the biggest threat up front in the points right now is going to be Josh Parent on this restart. Let's ride on board with the Murtis Racing number 90 for this next restart. Into the restart zone we go. And green flag is in the air. We're racing again here at Miami. 8 to go in stage 1. This is where the first big domino is going to fall, Zach. Josh Parent in this stage, he's the only driver trying to make it in that is in the top 10 right now.
And he's trying to do some work. Zach King might squeeze up in front of him right here. That's big. He stays in the gas, lays into the bumper of the 51. Oh, man, you can estimate that Josh was not happy about that one. He had a huge head of steam coming off of turn number 4. Now he's boxed in. Johnny Wood Jr. on his back bumper. There you see Brandvold also on the outside line leading that charge, trying to see if he can't move up a couple of spots. This is where all the boxing in starts to happen. The stage points are the necessity for this number 90 car, and here come the cars on tires.
First car on tires is going to be Braxton Skinner. He's back in 16th. He is getting closer and closer to this frame, but right now I think the 90 is safe for that 7th spot as he holds onto it and looks for 6th.
Look at Coulter Clark. He's trying to find a way in to get some stage points, capitalize on the situations at hand. He is the next driver in line to point himself in with Scott Fritz potentially out of this race. So he's got to try to capitalize on the points positions that he has in front of him. And with 5 laps to go on the stage, with Josh Parent being held up by Zach King, it's looking more and more dire for him to try and get stage points at the moment. He's in now, but the more stage points, the better.
Up front for the stage win, Dustin Stallings pulling away. Kyle Heath in second, Richard Wolsifer in third, Brandvold fourth. Not much happening between the top 5 or so. It's all really from 6th on back, with King holding up Parent a little bit. Now starting to get away from that 90 car. Johnny Wood Jr. on the back end of Parent. Here he goes to the inside.
Joshua Parent cannot give up these spots so easily. It's that 1 point. You always talk about it, Andrew. 1 point could always make the difference when it comes to making this and making the end of the season and trying to point yourselves in. Parent now behind Johnny Wood Jr. into that 8th spot. He's looking at 3 stage points. That would put him 30 points behind making that cut line. And Sam Dyer is 25th. So do the math right now. That's, what, 18 spots down? That would put him 12 points out from the regular season, or from making the chase. That's what I meant to say.
Here's Coulter Clark trying to get into that top 10 to get even a point or two. These guys, I don't know, man. I've been preaching for over 2 seasons now, Zach, that the chase, or not the chase, the stages are where you make your points in these races. I still don't see them prioritizing the stages. I still don't see them prioritizing stage points, and they lay back because they want to avoid the stuff early, but you got to be in the stuff early to come out on top of the stuff early.
It's funny you say that, too, because you know what we see them doing a lot when they're not prioritizing the stage? A lot of them are flipping the stage. Like, they're going after wins specifically and just
but wins don't lock you in, points do.
Exactly. You want to talk about points now, too. Carl Pooler's trying to move up as well. Here's the battle for the stage win, though. Dustin Stallings and Kyle Heath getting after it. Heath looking to the inside line. He's not there yet. About half a car length separates the 00 and the 13. As they roll up off of turn number 4, it is going to be white flag in the stage one more time around before we end this stage and we crown a stage winner. Stage points the big thing here, Andrew. We look through the field. The only person inside the top 10 outside the cut line, that's Joshua Parent, at least with a chance to make it in, as Stallings hits the wall.
Stallings grazes the outside wall there in turn number 2, but a run to turn 3. He's still got enough,
Caution.
And there's the caution. Jason Bottoms to the bottom and in the wall. A big hit for car 95 that will end stage 1. Dustin Stallings will be your stage 1 winner. He'll pick up where he left off, winning a stage last week at Rockingham, and will get those 10 bonus points. And Zach, what does this mean for Josh Parent?
In terms of mathematic eligibility,
not much.
Eighth place, 3 points. Currently, your competition sits. Doing my math real quick. Doing my math
24th.
With Dyer in 24th due to Bottoms wrecking out right there. That would put Parent 16 spots up.
Well, don't figure in the race results yet, because we know Dyer has a way of doing it. Just add those 2 for Josh and get back to us with that math. But here we go. Here we go. Pit stops are coming. We'll take a look back at what happened to Jason Bottoms in a moment. But here's the entire field just about, aside from Ronnie Osmer and Braxton Skinner and Caden Perkins, all pitting here at the end of stage 1. Everybody coming in for service. Waiting on these drivers to leave the pit lane. Here we go. There's the first. That's Josh Anderson sticking out of his box and heading down the pit lane. He makes a 2-tire call, it looks like, and nearly wins the race off the pit lane. It'll be Dustin Stallings still over Josh Anderson and Kyle Heath. Let's go back quickly and see what happened to Jason Bottoms. You can see him already in the pit lane. He towed, it seems, or brought to the pit lane pretty quickly anyways. Here it is, racing with Josh Anderson in the 07 and Braden Van Wingerden in the number 1. Off the corner. Loose, 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 loose. Drifting, got tipped around by that 07 of Anderson. Boom, inside wall. That's a pretty big hit, Zach. That's a lot of damage.
That is a solid hit, and it looks like Jason Bottoms has taken that car out of the race. He is done for the evening. What does that mean, Andrew? That's one spot up for Sam Dyer. That puts him into the 24th position, and after pit
that's how he does it.
That puts him 23rd. Now,
well, we're going to bring in Dustin Stallings here, and I'll give you some more time for math. Let's bring in our Stage 1 winner quickly, Dustin Stallings. Winning Stage 1, now lining up on the front row here for Stage 2. How's that car feel?
The car feels pretty good right now. I think it's because of the...
You there? Uh-oh. Oh, dear, Zach. We might have just witnessed a big issue for Dustin live.
All right, y'all got me here.
We have you. Are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. I don't know what's going on. I've been having issues since iRacing updated. But yeah, the car's feeling good. It's if this iRacing mess will straighten out here, I feel better.
We'll let you get to it. Best of luck here in Stage 2.
Thank you.
Dustin Stallings out there trying to restart at the front end of stage number 2. Here we go, Zach. We'll get your math update in just a moment, but for now, it's a restart in the restart zone. Here we go. Ronnie Osmer, Dustin Stallings front row. Green flag is back out. We're racing into stage 2 here at Miami. Down the backstretch, Osmer still has the spot. Side by side, Skinner and Heath.
side by side into turn number 3. Everyone's jostling around, shifting up to the top line. The more we go into this race, Andrew, we may see that top line form up more and more. However, usually when I tend to say that, it's the total opposite that happens, and the bottom line tends to form up a lot more. But that's the one thing that everybody loves about Homestead Miami Speedway. It's the main reason that NASCAR is bringing the championship back there. The multi-groove racing aspect of Homestead Miami Speedway plays dividends. The run off the top line pays off for Wolsifer. He goes down to the bottom, shoots it to the inside of the 13 of Kyle Heath.
You know, as you were saying that incident played out, that moment played out, and it felt like it illustrated what we were saying perfectly. Because you saw Wolfsburg run a different line at 1 and 2, get the run down the backstretch, and run the fastest lap of the race, and now have this position on the inside for 1 and 2 the next lap. So that shows you how much these guys are moving around, using the full racetrack, and being able to make moves. Not always making the pass, but at least making the move to try and get around guys.
How about 3 wide right behind them going into turn number 3? We saw Brandvold in the middle. We saw Anderson down on the bottom. Johnny Wood Jr. up top. Joshua Parrott right behind him with Zachary King in the mix, and Coulter Clark and Brendan Maddox. They're all just duking it out. Look at Anderson leaving that top line open. Joshua Parrott saw it. Didn't want to go for the move, though. I don't know. As Tony Stevens once said to me, Zach, this is a summer shootout. You got to be aggressive. Joshua Parrott, you're racing for a championship spot. You got to be aggressive.
Here we go, Parrott to the inside, getting aggressive on that 10 of Gilmore. Going for that position. You see a couple of cars in the wall, Gilmore in the wall, King in the wall. King making a move, Parrott maybe door checks that 07 down the front stretch.
He's certainly trying his hardest. King giving him a push down into turn number 1. Joshua Parrott, he talked to us a lot, Andrew, before coming into this race. This is one of his favorite racetracks. He knows how to run it, and he knows how to run it well. However, getting a little sidewinded right now. Zachary King moves around the outside, puts Joshua Parrott back into the 10th spot. Good thing is, this is early on in the stage. Let them burn their tires off. Do your thing. One driver who's been benefiting from a lot of that lately is Braxton Skinner, as we cut to him real quick, as his teammate Zachary Brandvold right in front of them.
No, they are teammates.
Oh, that's right. They are not teammates anymore. But Skinner has been one of the drivers that we've kind of put a bit of a focus on lately. He's been somewhat of a midfielder. He's had a really good opportunity as Joshua Anderson is into the wall. Oh, no.
Yeah, problems for the 07 in the wall big time. Wonder what happened to him.
I'll have to take a look at it. That's a big thing, though. Sam Dyer is picking them off one at a time.
Looks an awful lot like what's happened to everybody else down in turns 1 and 2. Looks a lot like what happened to Scott Fritz especially.
This is becoming all the more apparent, Andrew. I mean...
All while this guy runs in the back, he's going to pick up all these spots. As these guys drop out of the race, he's going to keep passing them. He was out of the gas there for a solid second. I love Sam Dyer. I really do. I love this guy. I love how he runs these races. He runs it so backwards because, yes, I'm shouting, prioritize the stage, prioritize the stage, prioritize the stage. And that's true. But just by being around at the end, running halfway even through the first 2 stages and then just showing up in the 3rd stage, this guy has put himself in a position to make the chase this season in season number 4 and have a shot at the championship. He could still be the champion here in season 4.
This is the same scenario that we saw happen to Evan Patinko not 2 seasons ago. He was kind of just knocking on the door ever so slightly, kind of doing his thing and letting everything happen around him, and then all of a sudden, he has a chance to make the chase. I mean, it's these storylines that we love to see. Now, you know what? No. I'm not going to get into more math. We're going to focus on what is a really good race for the lead right now.
I was just about to ask you for your math report, but big in the wall is Braxton Skinner right in front of Josh Parrott. That'll open the door for the 90 car into turn number 3.
He's going to bring Gilmore with him.
And Maddox
in the middle.
Skinner in the wall again.
Skinner's still in the wall.
That allows Parrott to pull into 8th place squarely now and take that spot away and move on with his day. Already a little over 10 laps into stage number 2.
Now, this is one thing that we actually haven't talked too much about, but I'm hearing race control chattering ever so slightly about it. They're trying to make sure the drivers are not wall riding, and apparently that seems to be a little bit of something that's going on at the moment. I don't know who's doing it. I only heard race control say cut down on it just a tad, so might need to keep an eye on that. Some of these drivers may be getting a little frustrated as we roll through the rest of the stage.
Just an observation, not accusing anybody of anything, but I've seen that 51 car in the wall an awful lot tonight, right in the middle of the corner, so I don't know, maybe that's part of it. I'm not saying he's getting any benefit necessarily, but I've seen Zach King get in the wall a lot, and I wonder if that's part of it, as he's just been grazing the outside wall, and he's been in the top 10 most of this race. Grazes it again there. That wouldn't have benefited him. It would be in the middle of the corner here, Zach, at your lowest speed. Ding the wall real quick and just kind of knock the car back the right direction, and that helps you a ton.
Yeah, you hit the wall on entry, and it's just going to knock all of your speed down. And not to mention either, the iRacing.com sim has put in some implementations to prevent drivers from wall riding in an excessive amount, mainly due to the fact of what we saw in the NASCAR Cup Series with Ross Chastain and the Hale Mellon. A lot of drivers decided, you know what, if they can do it in real life, I can do it in the sim, and, well, iRacing said, no, you can't.
Well, and as I think it was Mike Bagley called it, the video game move, where do you think that move came from? It was from video games. Seeing those kinds of moves like that work out in the sim and in other NASCAR games, you see that work out as a NASCAR driver. You're in a last-ditch effort to try and make the playoffs and make the final round of the playoffs to go race for a championship. Yeah, you're going to do anything you can think of. So you might use that wall to your advantage. And these guys, if they're in a last-ditch effort to make the chase, maybe they can do the same thing. So that's why the race control here this evening is getting that handled now. You don't want to end up on lap 165 and have a big moment like that ruin the race or ruin a battle for the championship or the chase in this case here tonight. So glad race control is getting on top of things as we watch Josh Parrott work in 7th place. Coulter Clark, Cameron Gilmore down to the inside, goes to 10, into the wall, big hit.
Taken away from Gilmore, I mean, that's another spot for Sam Dyer.
That's unfortunate for the Buckeye Optometry in number 10. I love this paint scheme. It took me a second to realize what was going on. At first I thought it was his Halloween costume and that maybe he was trick-or-treating here tonight at Miami, but this is a really cool paint scheme for Buckeye Optometry, and I love the play on words there. Unfortunately, that is not going to provide any clarity. That's a big hit.
How long did you sit on that pun?
Not very. I thought of that one pretty quick, actually.
There you go.
But he'll be red-eyed thinking about this one for a while.
Ah, that's 2 for 2.
Battle for the race lead. Here we go. Dustin Stallings to the inside of Ronnie Osmer.
Stallings had been making a couple of charges at the lead while we were focusing on what was happening with Gilmore. And now he's trying to solidify that. Stallings, your stage 1 winner, trying to capitalize on the fact that Ronnie Osmer, pitted earlier on, doesn't have as good of tires. Well,
Osmer's got worse tires by about 5 laps, 10 laps.
He didn't pit at the end of the stage there, so I feel like that's a bit of a testament, though, staying out and being able to hang on to it. That's your top 5, though, all under a blanket.
I'm sure Osmer didn't push those tires much at the end of stage 1, but this just goes to show you why, when I made that Who You Got graphic, I picked who I picked. Dustin Stallings, Ronnie Osmer versus the field. What do you know? They're 1 and 2 here at lap 60 of 165 at Miami. Stallings with the lead now over Osmer. He'll take over from car 15 and start to pull away. He has got those better tires and is making use of them.
Well, here is a kicker. We have just gotten word from Race Control. First warning of the night for wall riding. It's going to the 51 of Zach King. Keeping an eye on things, trying to make sure that these drivers are not hitting that wall. Apexing is what they are talking about. Do not apex off the wall in the center of the corner, like you mentioned, Andrew. So we're trying to see where these guys are finding that connection point with the wall, we'll say. As we saw Johnny Wood Jr. get by Joshua Parent right there. Starting to see this long run kick in, and if these guys aren't hitting the wall, maybe we'll see some guys drop a little bit further back.
Well, you know what? We told Zach King we might talk to him during the race. We told him we'd shout out Sal Bacris. I'll do that again, but we also told him we might talk to him during the race. He wanted to talk to us under green flag conditions. Let's bring him in. So, Zach, there's some buzz about maybe hitting that wall. What's your take on things?
It's Homestead. We're just ripping the wall and trying not to hit it, but, you know, it happens when you're running that close to the wall. And then, yeah, I don't know.
You've been running really good tonight. Up in the top 10 most of this race. Only as low as 15th. How's the car feel?
You know, the car feels great. It's great to be back in South Florida and racing in South Florida. Love this track. I've always been pretty good here, I feel like. And, you know, just staying out of controversy, really. And the car's been amazing. Like, I'm in love with the car right now. Like, no issues. I feel like I'm managing my tires pretty well. I'm still running competitively fast. So definitely hope it gets a little bit cooler, because I feel like once the coolness comes a little bit more, I'll be able to pick up a little bit more speed.
You're looking good so far. Might check it back in with you here in stage 3. Best of luck, Zach.
Thank you, sir.
That's Zach King running up in the 7th spot here tonight. You know, a lot of jokes get made about him in the league, but he's doing a really good job. No, Zach, no, Zach, hang on to it, buddy. Maybe I won't check in with you in stage 3. Didn't hit the wall too hard. What happened?
I don't know, it felt like the 23 got to my bumper, and when he got to my bumper, he, like, I don't know, maybe aerogriefed or what we call it, but I got really loose when he got to my bumper, so surprising, wasn't expecting it, and I just tried to save it, and I think I hit the 90, I don't know. I'll have to look back at it.
We'll get a replay going here on our side, but we'll let you cool down and get reset here and go back at it.
Thank you, Andrew.
I've never, ever seen such apparent a case of commentator curse. Have you, Zach?
Can't say I have.
I think that is the most egregious example I have ever seen. We're talking to him. In turn 1, we say goodbye. In turn 2, he spins. I've never. The good news is the Meatball Motorsports number 51 does not have a meatball. A meatball would be a pit for repair flag, as you call it all the time, Zach. It's a black flag with an orange dot in the center, and it looks like a meatball. So, boy, racers really have complex minds there, I guess, and named it the meatball flag. But yeah, I've never, ever seen such egregious a case of commentator curse. That is unbelievable. Well, what I wanted to do right after that, Zach, was talk about the 90 of Josh Parent. He's up in the 7th, now that spot that Zach King just vacated. So this is going to be a few more points. How's the math look?
Okay. Based off of current situations, should Parent finish where he's at, that is another 4 points added to his total. That would put him 26 points out. If he leads a lap, 25 points out. If he didn't get the pole, so he can't get that bonus point. So he would get if he gets the fastest lap bonus point, that puts him 25 points out. So say Parent won the race and Dyer finished 25th, Parent's in. The situation is favorably for him right now. However, this is the shakeup that turns into not in his favor. Look a couple cars behind him. Coulter Clark, Carl Pooler, guys who are mathematically more eligible than he is. They are not in need of stage points with where they're at right now. Parent's 7th, Clark is 8th, and Pooler is 9th. They both have the position right now to effectively knock Sam Dyer out, maybe minus about 2 spots. This point situation is really shaking up in Pooler and Clark's favor. Fritz, obviously, out of this race. Jared Hughes, however, his biggest thing is not Joshua Parent and Matthew Selby. Coulter Clark and Carl Pooler are his biggest problems because they could knock him out of this situation, potentially keeping Dyer in, maybe even moving Fritz in. It's still a little touchy situation.
And keep in mind, this math is all unofficial, very unofficial. Race admins will finalize results as quickly as they can here tonight. And if we are on air when it happens, we'll try to get you info. But yes, as Zach says, we're just drivers and commentators, so we'll do our best. But it's all unofficial until the checkered flag flies and things get finalized. Green flag once again here as we get nearer and nearer to the end of stage number 2. Beyond halfway here in the second stage of 3. Lap 68 underway. A tap to the wall for 1, maybe 2 drivers at a turn 2. Brandvold with company.
It was a shaky restart. Brendan Maddox, I think, was the one who didn't fire off that well. That allowed Parent to slip in on the bottom line, take the spot away. Johnny Wood Jr. now tapping on the back bumper of Brandvold. Wilsifer to the inside, trying to hang on to what he's got, but the top line, I keep telling you, Andrew, it's getting more and more powerful. That run up off of turn number 2 is so strong. Here's Carl Pooler making his run inside the top 10. The less stage points he gets, the better when it comes to a driver like Joshua Parent. Brendan Maddox is on the charge hard into turn number 3. Look at slipping up the racetrack. Johnny Wood Jr., he might slide up into the wall here.
Johnny Wood way up the racetrack there in turns 3 and 4. Gives a spot right back to his teammate, Richard Wilser. By the way, props to Limitless right now. They have had some troubles the last couple of seasons, but they've got all 3 of their cars inside the top 10 right now. And this might be a jinx, so I will knock on wood just a little bit.
Yeah,
Wilsifer is running 4th. Yeah, Wilsifer's running 4th. Johnny Wood is running 5th. Carl Pooler running 8th. That is the best this team has done in a long time.
Saw a car hit the apron back there. I think that was Evan Patenko, if he was still on the racetrack. But the fight still stays, and the focus still stays up towards the front of the field. There you see Jason Bottoms on the pit lane. He's been down there for quite a while at this point. That's got to be his race just about done. He's still got a meatball flag, a pit for a pair flag, as we tend to call it.
It's actually Dakota Bly. Jason Bottoms has called it a day.
Dakota Bly. I'm sorry.
He's out of the race, but Bly has been down there for 10 laps. Cameron Gilmore also still in the pit lane. He is 27 laps down. Cameron, if you're listening, turn that car off. That's going to blow the engine. It's got no circulation there of air. So, Cameron, if you're listening, or a teammate, maybe advise him to turn the engine off, or he's going to blow that motor. Meanwhile, here we go. Dakota Camper making a move on the 71 of Carl Pooler as Maddox goes down to the inside of Parent.
Maddox and Parent have just been in a bit of a 2-car tango most of this race, and it seems to be costing them ever so slightly. These are 2 of the drivers that I was mentioning, Andrew, that they are very, very good on the long run. Joshua Parent, Brendan Maddox, they have really good long run speed. If they settle into a good rhythm, I feel like those 2 could start picking off a lot of good cars up towards the front, especially with stalling stretching out potentially being able to win both these stages here as Maddox starts it down to the inside line. That bottom line has been very good in 1 and 2, but the top line powers off so well. And I think Josh is doing a really good job of keeping his foot in it up there to utilize that momentum and push closer towards Johnny Wood Jr. as we get closer to the end of the stage. Caution on the racetrack.
It's going to be Evan Patinko again.
Oh,
This is
he's doing his best
unfortunate.
Kyle Busch impression. J-turn it, man. J-turn it. Yeah, there it is.
Trying to find the gear. There it is. It's not as easy as the old H-pattern days to try and get this car in gear when you're trying to flip beyond neutral like that. Being a sequential gearbox, it does not... You can't flip from first to reverse and reverse back to first very easily. Let's see what happened to the number 81 Steelmaster Ford Mustang Dark Horse. Driver for Redacted Motorsports this season.
It's the same thing we've been seeing all night long, Andrew. That's a bit of a hit right there to the right rear. Oh, another hit to the right rear. Not seeing a meatball flag, not a pit for a pair flag, but big thing right here, Andrew. That's another spot for Sam Dyer.
Well, he already had that spot, I will say, as he's actually gone to take it to the garage. I want to see that, actually. This is going to be an interesting moment. As he will bring it down and try to take it to the garage. Unfortunately, iRacing said no.
Caden Perkins getting another wave around. He's now 1 lap down. So he's doing his part to get back on the lead lap. And should we go back green, Andrew, before this stage ends, he's going to get that lap back again because he's in the free pass position and he's back on the lead lap. Talk about staying in it.
Well, let's see. Is Caden... Yeah, we can go ahead and talk to him. Let's bring him in and see what happened to that number 19 car. So Caden Perkins is grabbing another lap back and get back on the lead lap here. What happened to put you 5 laps down in the first place? Caden, do you have a copy? We'll try one more time. Caden Perkins, you got us up here? All right, man, a few words. Caden Perkins going to leave it to the guessing game as far as what happened some 70 laps ago to put him 5 laps down. But he is back on the lead lap.
That's what I was about to say. I had it a little wrong. I guess I messed it up there, but I'm still fudging some numbers a little bit here and there. Now, one thing I'm a little concerned about, Sam Dyer has retreated back to the pit lane. He was on the pit lane and he came right back down. I'm not sure what's going on, but going laps down could be detrimental to his race. Andrew Rattel is still on the racetrack. Everyone behind Andrew Rattel is out. The lowest that 35 can go is 24th. But he needs to maximize these points that he's earning when you've got guys like Carl Pooler, Josh Parrott, Coulter Clark inside the top 10 now.
Go back to what I was saying earlier, Zach. This is his MO. Pitting just to make sure that he's in the back of the field. Wanting to line up at the rear, doesn't care about these stages. He's just going to go for it when the race comes to a close and try to be in the right spot when this race ends. So, up front, we're going to have 4 laps to go in stage number 2. It'll be Dustin Stallings, Richard Walsifer, Johnny Wood Jr., Zachary Brandvold, Brendan Maddox, and Josh Parent, your top 6, your front 3 rows, followed up by Dakota Gamper, Carl Pooler, Coulter Clark, and Braden Van Wingerden, your top 10, into the restart zone. One more time, here we go for stage number 2, 4 to go in the stage. Fanning out through the first and second corners. Zach, this is going to be a moment of big sends here to turn 3, I feel like.
Wolsifer's up the track, he's in the wall. Spinning, they're wrecking. Parrott to the bottom. Johnny Wood Jr.'s involved. Wolsifer takes a big hit.
Unbelievable accident. It's the big one here at Homestead Miami Speedway. A big crash to end stage 2. This will be it for stage 2. Cameron Carden, it seems, is involved. Ronnie Osmer. Did he get involved? He pinned again, was in the back for all of that. Does he have damage? Yes, he does.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
I don't even know what to say right now.
Osmer went for a whole spin. Let's see what happened here. So we got to go even further back. This happened out of turn 2 and ended in turn 4 nearly. Watch the 56 and 55, Wolsifer and Brandvold. Wolsifer goes up the racetrack, gets loose, comes back down, and Brandvold just hit him. I mean, that is entirely on Zachary Brandvold. This entire crash is on the 55 car. And there you see Osmer comes sliding into it and goes spinning. This is a dramatic crash. Let's go on board with Cart 55 here and listen. You'll see, there goes Wolsifer across his nose. And then Zach just hits him.
I don't even really know what to say right now.
And Zach, not to play in to, you know, what the old timers of the sport say about those young whippersnappers coming up through the ranks, but this is a younger driver, newer to the league. I feel like newer to iRacing as well. I think that's something you learn with time on the sim, not to run a guy flat over like that in the left rear quarter panel, because this could have been entirely avoided.
I think a lot of times they just come to the understanding that they're just going to end up hitting them square. I mean, it's hard to make that determination sometimes, especially when you don't necessarily have the know-how or the experience to make the determination. And I think Brandvold wanted to go to the bottom and may have hesitated. If he had fully committed to going to the bottom lane, he would have gone around that 56 car. And then you see Carl Pooler trying to make it through and just gets into Johnny Wood Jr. And this takes out a number of guys trying to keep themselves in this hunt. Look at Ronnie Osmer trying to make it around. Did he end up hitting the wall? I believe he did. Ends up getting tipped around. It's, so many fast cars are now out of this race, and that opens the door.
Pooler ran over Wood. Heath then comes in. Skinner goes for a spin. Here goes Josh Anderson. There you see Cameron Carden in it. So many cars involved in this one. This is the big one of the night here at Miami. Let's follow Ronnie Osmer through this. He's back behind Cole Lewis. Oh, man.
Let's state this for the record, too. Nobody has a pit for repair flag. Nobody is out of this race completely.
It was a big crash. It was a big crash, but it was a lot of glancing blows, I feel like. Let's see what happened here to Cameron Carden. He's that silver bullet 21. He just needed to check up way sooner. That also was self-inflicted. Just needed to check up way sooner and not try to bonsai through all that. But Zachary King is going to be the leader. I'm not even sure. I think it was Stallings that won the stage, right?
Yes, it was Stallings that won the stage, and they put a couple they put the lights back on the pace car a couple laps right now. They are delaying the green, actually, to try and determine what is going on. The drivers have chosen already, but they're delaying the green to try and figure out the stipulations of the caution right now. Lights are back on the pace car once again. They've extended the caution by another 2 laps.
Well, let's go back, Zach. I want to see at time of yellow. We gotta go way back. I want to see at time of yellow who was where. So Stallings is ahead of it, so he's of course going to win the stage. Brendan Maddox snuck through that. Josh Parrott snuck through that, and we might have more reviewing to do here, Zach. Watch this from Joshua Parrott's perspective here in a second. Watch the 90 on this restart. This could be a lucky performance, lucky break of the day. So restart zone. Up through the gears. There's 4th. Right behind Johnny Wood Jr., who got hit hard.
And this is the crazy thing, Andrew. Joshua Parent got a really bad restart. That allowed Johnny to slip in line. He could have been in Johnny's spot, realistically.
Wow.
That could have been Josh. I mean, if anything qualifies as luck, that's luck.
From the tower perspective, this is through 1 and 2.
That's 2 incidents that he's avoided, too. Remember, he was right behind Zach King when he spun.
And this happens. You see how close it is there to getting in Wolfsburg's mess. Yeah, I'm going to nominate that for lucky performance, lucky break of the day.
With the 2 misses that he's had already, no lucky break of the day, lucky driver of the day. That'd be nice, actually. Lucky driver of the day.
Well,
We already have a driver of the day, though.
Yep, let's bring in the second place driver from that stage. And that's going to be Brendan Maddox. He, of course, is locked into the chase. Let's bring in driver 23 here, who goes second in stage 2. Brendan, you were very close to being our lucky performance, lucky break of the day driver. We're going to give it to the 90, but you were right there with him, almost tied. What happened there?
I mean, to me, it looks like what I saw was the 56 was obviously hard charging towards the end of the stage, and I don't know if he got the wall or something, but he went to the high line out of 2, and maybe he got in the wall and bounced off and hit the 56, and then they spun out, and man, I don't know. I clinched rear end and pray I make it through is what I did. I did not expect to come through that clean at all, or second place on the other side of it, so I am pretty happy with that.
And, you know, I was chatting with you a little bit earlier in the day, talking about just this race coming up and some other stuff going on, and you mentioned that you would rather be at Rockingham. Have you warmed up to this place yet or not?
It's no Rockingham. I'll tell you that much. I still would prefer Rockingham at one point, or at this point. But I think a lot of my problem was just overdriving the track and things earlier, and having the one lap hold at the beginning of the race is just kind of forced me to take a step back and make sure that I'm not pushing the car too much. And I think in turn that's kind of helped me understand the track a little bit more, and how I'm supposed to race it. By the way, we're going green here. I don't know if you guys can see where we're wanting to go. So I think that has forced me to be more cautious, and it's just paying dividends. There's certainly guys behind me that are faster. My main goal with stage points to try to retain my position in the points and for the end of the regular season. And hey, my goals right now is going to be a top 10 at the end of the day, so that'll be a win for me basically.
Well, as we begin stage number 3, best of luck.
All right, thank you.
That's Brendan Maddox, second place there in stage number 2. Let's get ready for this restart, Zach. Then yes, we'll be talking about some points. As look at this restart. This is a little wonky. Green flag is in the air. Let's begin stage 3. Down the back straightaway, Zachary King, the race leader. You see Dakota Camper and Ronnie Osmer. They're battling to turn 3 with Joshua Parent. Turning to 51 is Dustin Stallings, and Parent's in it. Oh my goodness. No. Josh Anderson, Zachary King. What has happened here? Big problems here on this restart. Let's see what happened. From high above with our drones. There had to be a bump, obviously. Stallings just drove in the corner. Wow, no bump. That was all aero. Wow.
That is some heavy damage for the 90 of Josh Parent. We've got black flags all the way around right now.
And Zach, I think it's time we stop giving Lucky Break awards to drivers who need it. Oh my goodness.
I'm really surprised Josh didn't turn down the racetrack.
There's only so much you can do, and you're committed like that. You got cars to your inside. Let's see here. He had Osmer down there. He had Camper down there. Only so much course correction you can do. Clark got a big piece. Anderson, a big blow. Let's see. So this will be off the roof of the 00. And you'll see just how close Dustin gets, but there's no contact there. He's loose before he even gets to him.
Loose. He was already loose going into the corner. Gotta wonder, did King stay out on old tires? I didn't see him go to pit lane, I don't
It was
think.
like a 4-lap difference. He pitted right before that. Here's the onboard. That's all air. He got hit big time. Ping pong ball. I'm not sure what ping ball is, but it's not a ping pong ball. That was a ping pong ball though. On the top end of the racetrack, the 51 car, by no doing of his own, just got loose. Arrow shoved him around, and I'll be honest, Zach, I don't think I've ever seen an arrow spin like that on iRacing in this car. That's impressive. Never hit him. I can't think of what else would do it.
Hey, your guess is as good as mine.
Well, King is back on the racetrack, but he's got a lot of damage. You can see just how damaged that car is. The spoiler is a solid 4 inches forward. He's got damage to each corner of that race car. And this gives the lead to Brendan Maddox. He's going to be leading now over Dustin Stallings, Gray Walker, and Dakota Camper. Where is the 90 in all of this? It's not looking good. He's back in the 13th spot. He got those stage points, Zach, so where's he at?
Well, based on points specifically, he's 22 points out.
And who's closest?
At the moment, based on current running order, Carl Pooler.
Green flag back in the air. We'll check in on that 71 in a moment. But here we go, racing into stage 3. So it was Josh Parent making the biggest moves as far as trying to make the chase. Now it's Carl Pooler. How far back is he with just the stages figured in, Zach?
Carl Pooler didn't exactly earn a lot of stage points, so that's the big factor here. When talking about these things, I think based on current running order, he's still about 18 points back based off of stage points alone. Based off of current running order, though, with Dyer further back, what is it, 2 stage points, 18, factor in, he's sitting less than 5 points out at the moment.
So watch out for the 71. He could finish high enough.
8 points, excuse me, 8 points. That should be an accurate number.
A lot of pit stops here, by the way, from drivers that stayed out to get a wave around, it looks like. Cameron Carden, one of them, Coulter Clark, Cole Lewis, Dan Stockero, and Zach. This puts Sam Dyer ahead of all of those drivers. And right there with Richard Wolsifer, he's actually going to pass Wolsifer again. This is how Sam Dyer does it. So those cautions only help him. He just sits back and lets the mess take care of itself.
Dyer currently sitting 14th. He's just running his race. You gotta respect it. He's running his race.
It's impressive the way he does it.
Now we put ourselves into a precarious position, though. Even with the damage, drivers are staying out, doing the best they can. We know Carl Pooler got damage early on. He's out here doing his very best. He's running inside the top 10. Joshua Parent is running inside the top 10 as well. He's running P10 at the moment, trying to work his way up to Braxton Skinner, doing the best he can.
Oh, Osmer! At the front of the field, Ronnie Osmer spinning down the banking. And he comes to rest and will now move on from that crime scene, if you will, on the front straightaway. Talking about all the chase situations, we missed what was going on at the front of the field. Ronnie Osmer, Brendan Maddox, here they are as they were lapping some others like Cameron Carden. This will help that 21 car get a lap back, but watch this between these two. Maddox at the racetrack, Osmer at the racetrack battling for second place. Stallings got the lead away. Osmer comes down off the banking. Maddox just not clear.
Yeah, it looks like he just came up a tad. You know what that really reminds me of, Andrew? That reminds me, obviously without the intentional wrecking, obviously, that reminds me of, I don't know what year it was, I think it was 2008 or 2009, when Juan Pablo Montoya got wrecked on the front straightaway by Tony Stewart. Like, the incident itself just seems eerily similar, without the intentional, of course. Because Tony Stewart was mad at Montoya at that time.
Well, let's see. Did he get loose, or was that a conscious move? Because that was not clear by a mile. I mean, he kind of straightened the wheel out, Zach. Like, if we can slow this down, he was far from clear, but if we slow this down and wash the hands off the corner. Let's wait for it, slow it down. He just kind of straightens out, returns to center right about here-ish, right there. And just kind of leaves it there as he goes up the racetrack. I certainly don't think that was intentional. I don't think he was necessarily even trying to move up. I think he just returned the wheel to center, not realizing he needed to put some offset into it.
The big thing, too, is that when you see guys right rear hook someone or left rear hook someone, when they turn hard right, they tend to stay into that rightward turn to kind of get out of it as fast as possible. And you saw Maddox just kind of smoothly transition with it. You didn't see him egregiously cut the wheel right on rotation.
The car just kind of stopped turning. He needed to keep turning down the racetrack a little bit.
You just see that cut. It's not intentional. It's just
a lapse. It's just a lapse. I mean, that is about the best way I can put it, because that's a big mistake that's going to severely affect Osmer's night. Not intentional, but a big mistake. Look at all the damage to the 15 car.
To the rear end, too. That's going to be a huge upset for that.
Richard Wolfsfer also in the pit lane. There he is. Zachary King in there as well.
See Wolfsfer leaving. See Coulter Clark leaving. Joshua Parent leading them off of the pit lane. Excuse me, Ronnie Osmer leading them off the pit lane. Parent right behind him.
There's Parent. There's Osmer. And Dyer comes back into the pit lane. Dustin Stallings leads this race as they run under caution. The field is thinning, Zach. We had an impressive field of 29 show up tonight. It has thinned down. 4 cars are completely out of the race. Make that 6, actually, I believe. With Fritz, Bottoms, Gilmore, Bly, Wood, and Brandvold all either out of the session or in the pit lane and done for the day. As Dyer actually will come to a stop and then leave the box. He'll get back going.
Andrew, I'm going to lay it on you. I really don't know what to say about how this race has gone. We've seen title contenders trying to get into it. We've seen big ones. We've seen pole sitters go around. And this race is far from over.
A long ways to go here. Back to the restart zone. Dustin Stallings back on the loud pedal and racing again here at Miami. Dakota Camper, Kyle Heath, they battle for second. Gray Walker right behind. And look who's cracked the top 5, Zach.
Carl Pooler.
There he is. Driver of the day last week at Rockingham. Runs the same throwback paint scheme here tonight. He's just like Cameron Carden and Josh Parent. He kept the throwback scheme on the car this week. The only difference,
hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, I give you that. The only difference is his is metallic gold, and he's in the top 5. So he's doing something right here, clearly.
2 differences.
Well, anyways, here comes Kyle Heath for the race lead.
Side by side. Down into turn number 1. Big send to the bottom line for the 13 car. Heath has been a hard charger for this race win, but Stallings has just been on lock up the racetrack. goes Heath, trying to stay in contention here. Not going to be able to do much good. That top line really rolling off of turn number 2, but into 3 and 4, that's where the bottom line tends to shine. Oh, is he going to get him? He clears him. New race leader at Homestead, Kyle Heath.
Kyle Heath to the point. Dustin Stallings falling back in second. Dakota Camper third. Gray Walker fourth. Carl Pooler fifth. Josh Anderson sixth. And here comes Caden Perkins. Once 5 laps down, has just moved into 7th place. He's looking for 6th. I gotta say, seeing a bunch of yellow and blue on the racetrack tonight, Zach, that's a good feeling. Those are pretty darn close to Pit Stop TV colors. Always like to see Pit Stop TV colors dotting the racetrack. Perkins, though, about to pass some of those yellow and blue colors on the track. He actually falls back now into 7th place. One of my favorite paint schemes I've ever seen on a race car, I gotta say. His other one I think was a little better, but I like this one too. It shows you all the different colors of the reflectivity models of a radar. That's cool. Reflectivity, of course, basically meaning rain.
Green means light rain, red means hard rain. We've been getting a lot of hard rain in the Carolinas a little lately, and, you know, I've been doing a little storm chasing myself lately, I'll tell you, Andrew. I have interacted with a number of the drivers and admins here in the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series, and a lot of them have a big favorability for storm chasing, as it's clearly evident, but mainly with the fact of tornadoes. And I've always been a little frightened of tornadoes, but they're always incredibly fascinating. So is just regular weather phenomenon. So I've been keeping up with weather patterns, checking in here and there. Apparently we've got our tropical storm on the way, coming in a little early next week, but it's nice to see these guys embracing a passion, especially when it comes to racing and even things outside of racing.
Well, the passion is here for 3 wide battling just a couple of corners ago through 1 and 2. You saw it on the screen. The Caden Perkins down low, Braden Van Wingerden in the middle, Josh Anderson up top. Really good racing here in the middle part of the top 10, but you've also got it up ahead for 4th place. Gray Walker, Carl Pooler here through turn 2. Pooler getting the edge. He's nearly got it. Not quite, as Perkins moves into 6th. On board now with Pooler. So if anybody's going to do it at this point, right, it's going to be Carl Pooler, maybe Coulter Clark. Not enough stage points for the 90 of Josh Parent. He's just a little too far back, and as cars keep falling out of the race or falling laps down, Sam Dyer stays on the lead lap, and he keeps gaining spots. So it's starting to restrict who can even get in. It's really coming down to the 71, maybe the 54, but Pooler's in the best spot. He's 5th.
Pooler's been doing really, really great right now to maximize these points. Now, rolling into this race, let's keep a reminder, Andrew, Pooler was 20 points out. 20 points out at the moment, and he did not score a lot of stage points. I think overall on the day, he's only scored about 2 stage points. So that puts him 18 points out. 10 points, or 10 positions up on Dyer puts him 8 points out still. Dyer in the 16th spot. Dyer in the 16th spot. Pooler in the 5th spot. That puts him 11 up, 17 points out. So something's got to happen to Dyer, or it's game over for everyone. For Pooler, for Clark, for Fritz, for Parent. A lot of these guys have already had bad days and pretty much are already seeing if they can't lick their wounds clean and still have a charge at it. Pooler now is being the one to top that charge. But with the current amount of cars out of the race, there's not a lot further back than Dyer can go in. If we're talking lead lap cars, the furthest that Sam Dyer can fall down is only another few positions into 18th position, with Dorsey being the first car 1 lap down, Wingerden 2 laps down in the 20th spot. They are still on track, though.
Let's see if this 71 car can make this pass for 4th. Still working on Gray Walker. Great battles all around the racetrack, by the way. Jared Hughes, he's in a great one. Here comes Evan Patinko. He's laps down and in the wall. Oh my goodness. Evan Patinko has had the worst night. The absolute worst night that I've seen him have in a long time. In the wall again.
6 cars that have had a bit of a worse night than him. Just based on position, that is. But Evan Patinko, I want to say, too, is one driver we paid attention to a lot. And we've seen just how fast he's been getting and how he's been stepping up his game from a midfield car to a front runner.
Watching up front for the race lead, Dustin Stallings. A little under 60 laps to go. Lost a lot of time there in 3 and 4, but starts to gain it back down the straightaway in the draft. This double aught has just been so impressive this season rather. Kind of taking over almost from Mason Houseman, I feel like. He's been getting better these last couple of seasons. I recall that Las Vegas win was oh so memorable a couple of seasons ago. Now, here he is in season 4. I would say, Zach, I think Dustin's probably the championship favorite. Ronnie is a very close second. And that's just because Dustin's on top of the standings, technically. I would say those two are nearly tied as far as who's the favorite.
Well, with 50 laps to go, there's not too much going on. And
oh, there's a ton going on. Here's Carl Pooler on Gray Walker again.
I just got an update based on Carl Pooler's position. He needs to win to make it in. Based off current positions as they run, he needs to win to make it in.
Yeah, with Sam up to 14th, it's going to take a lot. If anything, you know what? As Pooler dives on Walker again, this is for 4th. Richard Wolsifer sits right behind Sam Dyer. Well, more or less. Here's Richard. Up the road is that red target machine. Richard needs to be doing everything he can to try to put himself ahead of that 35 car for the better of his own teammate. He's got to do everything he can, but he's got damage. So he's just at the mercy of what that car can do. And I think it's showing. He's only got so much, right? He's a little over a second back. Dyer's up the road and pulling away.
What would be a big team move, it would be really cheesy, but a big team move would be for him to get up to that 35 and just start slowing him down. Back the pace up. Back that pace up as much as possible to allow more cars to pass that 35 car.
So we'll see how this goes. It's looking really good for Sam Dyer, not so good for the rest of these guys trying to make the chase. That big crash down the back straightaway, Zach, that kind of did everybody in. The caution thereafter with Josh Parent getting involved, that really solidified the deal even more. It was already a tall order for anybody not already in to make it other than Scott Fritz, and Fritz out. That changes the game. So watching Kyle Heath and Dustin Stallings go for the race lead at the front of the field. 50 laps to go. You're in a couple more laps.
And I think it's safe to say, Andrew, with the amount of laps left in the race, we take a look at that car in the 8th position, Jared Hughes. He walked into this race 27 points above the cut line. Based on current running positions, based on points accumulated as well, because Jared Hughes got stage points, I think it's safe to say his position is secure in the chase.
$50 laps to go here, so things starting to come into focus, starting to come into picture, Zach.
The more the laps tick away, the better and the more clear it becomes.
I gotta wonder, you know, back when we began this season, back at Daytona, is this what you pictured? Is this Chase Field? We'll bring it down the ticker for a moment here. Let's watch these guys from the static cameras. Let's take a look at the 12 that are likely still going to make it. Is this what you pictured? Because it's not at all what I pictured.
No, it is not. I think I pictured it going a little bit differently. Honestly, to be perfectly honest, walking into this race, I felt Coulter Clark and Carl Pooler were going to make a hard charge for that spot, and Carl Pooler seems to be the one making that hard charge. I figured Josh Parent was going to throw that Hail Mary, and he did. Just didn't exactly play in his favor with Zach King going around at the front of the field. Jared Hughes, I figured he would walk into this race pretty much secure for the most part based on car count. I think my expectations have somewhat been met, but at the same time have been flipped over a little bit.
I will say, guys like Dustin Stallings, Ronnie Osborne, Johnny Wood Jr., Kyle Heath, of course, those have to be your championship favorites. I would toss in Brendan Maddox, even Christian Barnes, honestly, as a long shot. I think then it gets a little murkier with guys like Zachary Branfold, Gray Walker, Dakota Camper, but a lot coming into focus as we get later and later in this season. And let's preview those 5 races in the chase as Cody Dorsey has come into the pit lane. Nashville next week, then Chicago, Talladega, California, Las Vegas. I'm looking forward to Chicago the most, but I tell you what, Las Vegas, when this whole thing comes into focus and we crown a champion, that's going to be one satisfying day.
It's always a satisfying day when you have a champion being crowned, and especially when you're the one being crowned as the champion. As we start to see guys heading into the pit lane, though, Andrew, we see cars going a lap down. We see positions changing hands for the most part.
Cody Dorsey actually pitted and has parked it. Sorry to cut you off.
No, it just adds in at this point. Sam Dyer can't lose any more spots at that point. It's looking all the more and more clear that 35 will be racing for a chase position. Brendan Maddox is taking it to the pit lane. Ronnie Osmer is taking it to the pit lane. He's up on the left sides, meaning he's getting ready to roll. That's what I meant to say. See Maddox down on the back straightaway. Cardin's a lap down now. Osmer a lap down. Maddox, the first car, 1 lap down at the moment. So when Heath Stallings, Scamper, Pooler, Walker, they all start taking it to the pit lane, that's when you'll see him getting his lap back, rolling through. There is Sam Dyer, though.
This
the
has
battle
to
of
be
attrition.
This has to be the longest of long shots this season to make the chase, let alone have a chance to fight for the championship. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, but he just hangs out. And when you look at a season with 43 cars entered in, you think, oh man, you're going to have to fight up front. You're going to have to be up there and really be up on the wheel. And it was that way through the first few races of the season. And then slowly a driver would kind of stop racing or whatever. You know, the field thinned just a little bit. And it got a little bit easier to get higher positions if you're just riding in the back, waiting on guys to fall out. And the season has just played out the way he needed it to be in this position. That's all I'm trying to say. It has played out the way he needed it in this case. It's impressive. He keeps the car on the racetrack every week, doesn't get involved in crashes. He's probably got one of the lowest incident counts of the entire field. And he's just happy to run around and be there at the end. I keep saying it. Be there at the end. It's what he does as pit stops are getting underway.
Realistically, looking at Dyer, though, Andrew, he's got a really good average finish, all things considered. Top 12 make it in to the postseason. Those 5 race stretch, Pooler makes it to his box.
Pooler and Skinner both in.
He's got an average finish of 13.4. That's not bad for a 12-driver chase.
I think we just... Okay. It reset itself. For a second, Braxton Skinner, I don't know if you saw it, Zach, he went to the top of the timing board even though he had just come into pit. I'm glad it fixed itself, but there are funky things going on here at Miami tonight. It has been one of those days as you take back a look back up at the top few. Kyle Heath, Dustin Stallings, Dakota Camper, your top 3. There's Heath leading Stallings into turn 1. And a win is due for this guy. Right? I just feel like since Texas getting the season going, of course, Daytona started the season off, I think it was Texas round 2, or close to it. Let's bring up the schedule graphic, I suppose. Yeah, Texas round 2, then Iowa, Michigan, Austin. Since those early races, I have felt like Kyle Heath could be a race winner. Here he is tonight, leading with about 40 to go, now 39 to go. Could this be his day?
We'll have to wait and see. Things could always turn out in your favor, but things could always end up in a more heartbreaking situation, we'll call it, just based on how racing is. I mean, it's the age-old saying, that's just racing. And we say it for the good and the bad. It's the aloha of racing in terms of expressions or sayings or lingo. Everything could go good, be great. Everything could turn topsy-turvy, go bad. But I think everything's pointing in Heath's favor today.
Dan Stockero to the pit lane. Comes in for service. We'll head back out. This could be a career night for him. A rookie this season, joining Cole Lewis. It has been impressive to watch them get better and better as the season has gone on. Backmarker Racing continues to improve, and here they are tonight. This could be a big day for Stockero, even for Lewis. Cole Lewis has just pitted from around the top 10, so he'll get back going. Buttkicker in the pit lane, Van Wingerden in the pit lane. Van Wingerden clearly has had a rough day.
He was one of the drivers involved in that big one, and he took a pretty big head-on collision. He was right behind Carl Pooler after just about cleaning out Johnny Wood Jr.
He actually just had a big moment. Let's see this. Let's see what happened to car 1. Here he is through turns 1 and 2. Again, Zach, it's going to be Calamity Corner. Spirit Racing,
seems to be turn number 2.
Mason Hausman's team has had a rough go of things, and this is just adding to their rough go. All 3 cars now out of the race. Braden Van Wingerden, Cameron Gilmore, Zachary Brandvold. That leaves 18 running.
Well,
been a night of attrition for sure.
We may have more. I think Zach King's going to try to get back out on the racetrack. I would assume Johnny Wood Jr. is still out there. Is he not? No, 53 laps down.
No, Johnny Wood Jr. is playing ready or not. As here comes Cameron Carden to the pit lane. Let's actually check in with car 51. He's just leaving the pit lane. We said we'd talk to him again. He's been kind of begging us, and maybe we should have talked to him while he was leaving pit lane. Here he is, getting back on the racetrack. Zach, how agonizing was that wait?
Yeah, the whole that whole scenario went from happiness to dreadful. So just waiting it out, and thankfully the Meatball Motorsports guys were able to repair this car, and I wasn't done for the day. But we're gonna see how it runs here, and just trying to get some more practice, I guess, because that's all we can do, and just try and see what we can learn. That's what we've been doing all day, just learning what we can do with the car, and try not to cause any issues, and just try to run it out and have fun.
From your perspective, you've had a lot of time to sit, look at the incident, stew on it. What happened in turn 3?
See, it's the same thing that happened with me in the 23, I believe. It just, when they get to my left rear quarter, the car just snaps loose. He takes all the air off my spoiler, and it was rough. And then once that spin happened, served a drive-through, and after I served that drive-through, the car just, I came back down, pitted, fixed the front of the car, but it didn't fix the back, so it was basically driving with like no spoiler out there, and it was very, very hard to drive. I couldn't even go over like 160, so it's like why I didn't even fix the repair. But once I fixed it, it was just like, it was terrible, and I was like, oh, and then was getting really, really loose, let the leaders go, and then I tried to get back in, see how much I had, and the car just had nothing, broke both front toe links, had to wait like 15 minutes for repairs. But happy to be back out here and just still run, not gonna get anything good, but you know, it's always better to finish the regular season running than sitting in the pits, so.
29 laps down, might be a few more spots on the racetrack for you. Best of luck.
Thank you, Andrew, thank you guys.
Good to hear from him and hear his perspective, especially on what happened, Zach, as here comes Richard Wolfsburg to the pit lane. Another pit stop. Everybody's got to pit once in this run to the end. And this will be the stop for the Stints Built 56 car. And the number 18. Now, it's scripted, and a lot of pit stops. Everybody's coming in. Here comes Heath. You saw Stallings in the pit lane. A lot of pit stops all at the same time right here. This is about the money stop for these guys.
Camper's still on the racetrack. I think Perkins is stay on the racetrack as well. Anderson, Dyer out there. Maddox back on the lead lap now. That's big for Maddox because he has jumped a lot of them. He has jumped in front of Dustin Stallings. He's jumped in front of Carl Pooler. Oh, we got caution. Wrecking out the back straightaway. It's Jared Hughes, Ronnie Osmer.
Ronnie Osmer spinning around. Coulter Clark slow as well. So the pit stop TV number 54 car. Some problems here as Jared Hughes goes for a spin, racing with Ronnie Osmer. Watching from high above, there's those three cars all involved here. Osmer's ahead. It's got to be a problem for the 15, right? Yeah, it gets loose, overcorrects. Nowhere for Hughes to go.
Oh, Coulter Clark!
Yeah. So Osmer here off the corner just got loose. And that shows even one of the most talented drivers in this field has been so good this season. Even he can have these problems as Josh Anderson just misses that. Coulter Clark goes for a wild spin there on the inside of the racetrack. Coulter from Accelerate Racing so graciously decided to run our logos on his car this season. I feel like it's brought him some bad luck, unfortunately. Hopefully he'll carry on with those colors next season. It's a great looking paint scheme, but it has not been the best go of things for him this season in season number 4. Pit stops now wrapping up actually. Kyle Heath is joining the back of the field. He's the leader.
Heath pitted under the green flag. The caution came out while he was on the lead lap. I was actually about to touch on this really quickly. A bunch of cars were still on the lead lap when the caution came out. There were 6 cars on the lead lap. Guess who was one of them? Sam Dyer. He was in the top 5. Heath was up there. Camper stayed out. Caden Perkins stayed out. Josh Anderson stayed out. Heath was pitting. Maddox got his lap back. Stallings got his lap back. And Dyer was still on the lead lap. So this creates an interesting shakeup at the front of the field. You've got a number of drivers who've stayed out to take their wave around. You see Carl Pooler getting back on the lead lap and Braxton Skinner getting back on the lead lap. Gray Walker is still a lap down. Everyone from Gray Walker all the way down is still 1 lap down. That's your top 10 that are 1 lap down and beyond. Everyone up to 15th is 1 lap down. Jared Hughes is 2 laps down in the 16th position, but I believe they just went through the grass. He's still on the racetrack. Wolsifer is 2 laps down. Things are just shaking up.
It's going to be a brand new run to the end here, that's for sure. There you see on the left side of your screen where everybody lies. Heath at the top. Camper in second. Then Anderson. So teammates pretty much in your top 3. And they're all lined up front. Maddox in third, then Dyer in 5th. Stallings, Perkins, Pooler, and Skinner, your top 9 that are all on the lead lap. Everybody else 1 lap down or more. In fact, the drivers that are 1 lap down, Walker, Parent, Lewis, Stockero, Osmer, and Clark. Here we go to the restart zone. 1 car down low. This looks like the old days. Everybody lined up top into the restart zone. 26 laps to go at Miami. Virtually a single file restart.
Dyer dropping down to the apron, Andrew. He's getting out of the way, everyone. Lowest he'll go is 9th.
Doesn't want to get caught up in anything. Wants to just survive to the end. Of course, getting involved in a crash now could be the difference between himself making or missing the chase. Here comes Maddox. He charges to 3rd.
Maddox looking for redemption after last week at Rockingham, involved in an unfortunate incident that took him out of contention for the race win. Now, he's got a chance to go up there and get another one. See what he can do. Put himself in position. Maddox has already won this season. Another win would be incredibly helpful for his championship hopes. Give him some more bonus points rolling into the final 5 races, especially when you're rolling into tracks that are very, very heavily technical. Especially tracks like Nashville, Chicago.
I hate to correct you.
Purple.
Hate to correct you, Zach, but I got to point out, Maddox has not won yet. He's still looking for that first win. So everybody,
I thought he won.
No wins. So he's got no win. Camper's got 1, and caution's out. So we'll shelve that for later, as Richard Wolfsburg's got problems on the back straightaway. Problems here for car 56. Comes off of turn 2, got loose, whips it around. I would love to have the stats. I'm not sure who can provide it, but I'd love to have the stats on how many cars have gotten loose and spun off of turn 2 tonight.
5?
It's at least a half dozen. I mean, the last 2 cautions alone have both been cars getting loose in turn 2. And if you look at the race infographic, 11 cautions, I'm willing to bet at least half. So at least 6, I'm willing to bet, have been from getting loose in turn 2, as here comes the 81 and everybody else to pit lane. That's Evan Patinko, Jared Hughes, Zach King, Braxton Skinner. It looks like maybe Josh Anderson back there, maybe Andrew Rattel, Sam Dyer, Coulter Clark, Cameron Carden, Ronnie Osmer, and Richard Wolsifer all coming in. And that was Rattel, not Anderson. So who's a lucky dog here? That would be Gray Walker. A couple of cautions ago, I wanted to point this out, or I guess I think it was under the green flag pit stops. I believe that is Jaguar Artistry on the side of that number 18 car, added as a sponsor for Accelerate Racing this season. So a brand new partner added to that team, and that is a good looking Miami Vice style paint scheme. Really exemplifying what Jaguar Artistry is about. I really like this paint scheme, Zach. This was a surprise to me. It is a good looking car.
I like it. I think the colors match well with each other. I think it's got a really great flow.
Well, let's check in with somebody. I don't know who yet. I haven't decided that. It's difficult because we've narrowed the field down so much. And I'm certainly not going to bring in Carl. That would be risking a little too much right now. I'll tell you what. Instead of talking to a driver, I'm going to pose a vote right before... We've actually got a driver of the day. But right before we go back green here, I'm going to pose a vote to you guys. If we get another caution, let us know who you want us to talk to. What driver would you like us to check in with under the next caution, should we get one? For now, Zach, let's go ahead and do it. Driver of the day, let's get this out of the way real quick. Positions gained on your screen: 6 for Heath, 10 for Camper, 10 for Anderson, 14 for Perkins, 14 for Skinner, 16 for Dyer. I'll tell you what, we don't have enough time now. Let's think about it. And once we get a lap in under green, we'll talk about it some more, because we're about to go back green. Don't want to miss the restart, but it is that time. 20 laps to go. I've kind of put it off because I didn't really know what was going to be happening. It's been a crazy race, but it's that time now, Zach. So when we go back green, think about it. Driver of the day, it's coming right up as you see 3 rows double up. Everybody else, top of the field, top of the racetrack, entering the restart zone here with 20 laps to go. And there you go. Green flag is back out here at Miami. 20 to go. Off of turn number 2, spinning goes Camper. He saves it. No, around into Skinner, Walker, Stockero. There's a caution. Oh, Wolsifer at the last second. Room ran out, and he went smack into. Oh, and Skinner turns Camper around. Braxton Skinner. That's 2 cars claimed. Oh my goodness.
I don't even know what to say.
Watch the 3. It's the same thing, Zach. 1 and 2, particularly turn 2, and Skinner, oh my goodness, ran right over Carl Pooler, who put him into the 3, then gets into Camper again, and then swerves, spins, goes up the racetrack. He released the brake in front of Richard Wolsifer, and then comes down the track and turns a 3. I've never seen one car hit or spin 4 in one caution.
Saw Dyer just absolutely stop after Wolsifer had contact.
Here's Sam Dyer. He's way behind the restart to get going.
Way, way behind. Still inside the top 10, though. There you see the wrecking unfolding in front. There you see the smoke. Checking up, getting out of it. Stays low. Wolsifer rolls top as Skinner jumps out of it, and he just comes to a stop right here. Stays in 4th gear, too. Gets that extra engine braking. There it is. Back bumper of Skinner, back bumper of Pooler, front bumper of Skinner. Just a lot of heavy hits all around, and then coming in. Oh.
Circuiting with the 18 here of Gray Walker. He was back behind Evan Patinko. Tried to grab a gear, thought it was saved, and ended up spinning around Stockero. He was just trying to hustle through that, and I respect the hustle, but again, that's another case of showing you why you just check up and let the crash happen. Let's watch this again, and you'll see what I'm talking about, because if he keeps it woed down back here, he's going to be able to stay behind it. He gasses up instead. If he had just stayed woed down on the inside, he likely gets through that.
And a quick heads up, too. That's just what you gotta have, is quick heads up. I felt going in a different way with that statement, but...
Well, here's the choose, Dak. Let's quickly talk with somebody out there. It's going to be Carl Pooler. I didn't want to talk to him, but Devin Mosley out there said go ahead and talk to a cut line driver. That's who it's going to be. We said we'd talk to somebody, so I gotta follow through. Got a lot going on here at the end of the race all of a sudden, but let's bring in Carl Pooler briefly. And I want to ask you, Carl, after that hit to the rear and the front, how's the car? How much damage you got?
0. I had 13 seconds. Wow. I have a fresh set of tires. I'm ready to go after it.
It's going to take a lot, maybe even a win for you to get into the chase. Looking like chances are dwindling. What are you going to do here on this restart?
I got to survive. There's still 17, coming up on 16 laps to go. I need to survive this restart. The last one wasn't a great one, so I need to be prepared for that and hopefully catch these guys a little offhanded with my new tires. Best of luck, Carl. We said we talked to somebody here. We've had some curses out there tonight. I'm going to knock on wood here live for you because I don't want anything to happen. Best of luck. Well, hopefully I appreciate that.
Hopefully we're talking to the end of this one.
Yes, sir. Good luck.
Carl Pooler. Gonna try and survive this last potential restart. Nearly down to 15 to go here, Zach. Here we go into the restart zone. Waiting on the green. There it is. We're racing again here at Miami. And I tell you what, it's everybody watching out there. Oh, Dyer! Whoa! Spinning on his own nearly. Hangs on. That could have been everything. As there's a caution again. Josh Anderson. And Dustin Stallings is in it.
More cars spinning into the grass. Oh my goodness.
Sam Dyer was behind it all. So let's first see what happened to Sam Dyer. He pulled to the inside. And then when he comes back on the racetrack, Zach, I think he just loses it. Right on the, the apron, just loses it.
Wow.
So then
Great
the
job
07.
locking it down.
Wow, this is already in progress.
Dustin Stallings going around. Multiple cars going down. Stockero takes a miss, but still spins either way. Almost got Josh Parent right there, who just got back on the lead lap.
So Parent back in the race. Let's go back and see what happened to this 07 and the double aught. Anderson restarted second right in front of Perkins and Stallings. It didn't go anywhere on the restart.
Seeing a lot of lagging on these restarts, and Stallings has been one of the strongest cars all night long. So to see him getting involved in this is just heartbreaking. Caden Perkins, who was 5 laps down to start this race, he's up in third now. I really don't even know what this race is anymore, Andrew, to be perfectly honest. We've seen the guys who we expected to be up at the front now falling to the back. We've seen the fast guys to go laps down.
Watch this real quick. Net code. A little bit as Anderson hung off the wall and Stallings came up into him. Let's watch this again so I can kind of walk you through here what's going on. So watch the double, or the 00 and the 7 right there. Anderson was just a little bit down the racetrack, and Stallings came up a little too high. I want to watch this back one more time from the same view and show you what I mean. So we're gonna we'll let it go full speed here for a moment, and we'll slow it down right here. And you see Perkins at the racetrack. He's gonna hit the wall. Anderson could have been a little higher. Maddox was. I think Stallings was expecting that kind of line out of the 07 and just came up a little bit higher. That's just close racing here at the end. Of course, neither of those two want to have this incident. That's just these guys going for it here in the last 15 laps.
Interestingly enough, Josh Anderson will be receiving the EOL. He will be tagging the tail. As we see the drivers choosing now.
So let's do it real quick. We have just a second here. Driver of the day votes. Let's get them in.
Driver of the day vote, I think I'm going to go with Kyle Heath, and only for the fact that he stayed in it for so long, and he's trying to be one of the drivers like Carl Pooler to get in. I think I'm going to go with Josh Parent for driver of the day as well.
We are going to go ahead. So you take Heath and Parent. My first nomination is going to be Sam Dyer, because I don't know how he has just worked this to his advantage so well again. But he has. He's going to restart 12th, but he has stayed in this thing, has not missed a beat doing his strategy. But also, Caden Perkins up 17 positions. I can't believe this. I cannot believe this. Caden Perkins, make sure I spell his name right. Caden Perkins, 5 laps down at the start of the race, restarting second here with 12 laps to go. Let's see what he can do as we come around to get another restart. Your front row is in the driver of the day vote. Vote for him. Green flag is out here again at Miami. Braxton Skinner in the wall. Gray Walker's there. Dustin Stallings there, actually. Carl
Stallings
Pooler.
almost looked like...
Carl Pooler here going on Caden Perkins.
Stallings almost looked like he was going to turn Braxton Skinner just from the angle of the camera going down the back straightaway. You see Camper taking it to the pit lane, backing out of that. Josh Anderson going to the pit lane as well. Sam Dyer just rolled across the apron on the front straightaway. What was he missing?
Hard to say, but we continue on. Heath has got a 0.6 of a second lead. Maddox second, Perkins third, Pooler fourth. Here comes Walker, Stallings, and Parrott, your top 7. Then Skinner, Lewis, and Dyer, your top 10.
They're fighting Stallings and Walker and Parrott for that 6th position, I believe. 5th position, it looks like. Walker just staying in it, doing what he can to hang on to that top 5. Heath goes quick as he is just on point right now. Kyle Heath has been out and away, lights out, with just 10 laps to go. And I can confidently say that as we roll into the waning laps of this race, we have got Carl Pooler sitting in the 4th position, Josh Parent sitting in the 7th position. Those are the 2 drivers that have the best chance at the moment to upset Sam Dyer, but based on current running positions, neither of them will take that final chase position based on Sam Dyer holding a top 10 right now. A top 10. Started 28th, tail end of the field. 26th, actually. He was the lowest of 28th, tail end of the field, and he's worked himself up into the top 10.
And I wouldn't be surprised if he started from the pit lane as well. He keeps giving up positions on these restarts and just rolling to the back of the field. That's his MO. He just sits back and lets things happen. I'm going to be curious to see where he finishes this season, because it is looking like he's going to make it into the chase and fight for a championship. But up front, battle for 3rd, Caden Perkins, Carl Pooler.
Carl Pooler's doing everything he can to try and
Perkins,
see.
oh no, hang on!
Hang on to it, buddy!
What a catch!
He's going to lose more spots here. Walker and Parent around the outside.
Come on, that's got to get at least 1 vote out there for driver of the day.
That's got to get a Lucky Performance, Lucky Break of the Day nomination, in my opinion.
I was thinking about it. It's close. There you go. Stallings is going to get by Pooler. Stallings has got better tires than Zach with 20 lap-old tires in the top 2. 6, now 7 lap-old tires on 3rd place. Stallings might just have enough in these final 6 or 7 laps.
As we roll in,
we've been talking points all night long. Forget it. At this point, Sam Dyer, unless a big thing happens, is going to move on. For the race win, though, Kyle Heath, a 2nd up on Brennan Maddox. Dustin Stallings right behind Maddox. Can Stallings get there? I don't think he's got enough. Not without a caution.
Not unless we get a caution flag. Maddox continues to fall further back. He's lost almost 2 tenths on Kyle Heath, rolling into turn number 1. Gotta be running that top line, Brendan. You gotta be running up there against that wall, trying to find a way to do what the leader is not doing. Find out where he is gaining time on you and do the opposite. Because pretty much all he's doing is capitalizing on your faultings. He doesn't have to be the best, he just has to outrace you.
Kyle Heath has led the last 60 laps or so. It's been impressive just how much he's been out front in this 3rd stage. I mean, he was around in stages 1 and 2, but he wasn't really threatening for the race lead for a while. Here he is. He has just found his way to where he needs to be. I gotta say it, Zach, I think this might be a driver of the day kind of performance from Kyle Heath here today. We've been talking about it since the beginning of the season. He unloaded and was good. There's a caution. This is not over. Buttkicker again.
Oh, no. Could you imagine how many attempts, because it's going to happen now, overtime.
We'll talk about it in a second.
Overtime is coming in.
Yeah, we're likely going to overtime here. Maybe a natural one, but I don't think so.
Oh, no. We're going to overtime. How many attempts do you think we're going to use, though?
Well, here's Buttkicker getting loose, I'd imagine. Yep, loose.
Off the
turn 2. I think he just got frustrated and threw it around. That's going to be likely a penalty, I'd have to guess, for Buttkicker.
That would be his 2nd or 3rd incident, I would assume.
I think that's his 3rd. It might be only his 2nd, but I think it's his 3rd. One of them might not have been a caution, but you see him get loose, and he's mad. He's wrestling on the wheel.
He came over the radio, actually, Andrew, and pled his case to race control and said he was just trying to save the car the whole time.
You know, he might have been. It looks like it was that kind of frustrated shaking, but honestly, with how crazy these cars are to drive, I don't doubt it. Well, Zach, a lot of cars are staying out. In fact, the top car to pit, Josh Parent. I think track position is going to win. I
say take it, though.
I mean, if you're not in the top 5, go ahead and pit, I think. Try and get something out of this, but I think track position is going to win out. It's only 2 laps. Let's go ahead and talk about your lucky performance overtime rules. 2 laps, a green lap and a white lap, then checkers will end it. If the green lap is completed, the race is official. That means the white flag will come out and they race back no matter what. If the green lap is not completed, however, they restart again up to 3 total times. After all attempts are used, a caution can end the race if it comes out during that green lap. So there's that green lap to kick things off. If a caution comes out during that first lap of the restart, they re-rack and restack, go at it again. If they get to the white flag at any point in time, they race back no matter what, unless it's already under the final caution of the race. We have extended the race. We're going to restart on what would have been the final lap of the race. We're going to lucky performance overtime here at Miami. Nobody's really going to get lucky as far as the berth into the chase goes, but Zach, look at Dustin Stallings. He's got about 15 lap better tires.
That's the big thing I saw here is that Brendan Maddox shows the bottom. Stallings went top. The first car on tires, that's Joshua Parent. He's 5th in line on the bottom, so he's lining up 9th for this restart. He's got no challenge on the outside line. He can go anywhere he wants to. However, Stallings, being on that outside line, he's got the preferred line exiting turn 1. So if Heath doesn't have a good clearance rolling through the center of the corner, Stallings is going to charge going off of 2 down the back straightaway.
Catch your breath. Get a drink of water now. You're going to need it.
Lock in.
That's just it. Lock in here. 2 laps. That's the distance. Unless we get a caution the first time around. Here we go. In Miami, an overtime restart in the final regular season race of the season. Green flag is back out. 2 laps to go. Green, white, checkered overtime at Miami. Watch that double lot. Off the top of the racetrack, Dustin Stallings, top side, clear to second. He's now got to chase down that 13 of Kyle Heath.
He did not get a good restart, Andrew. That 00 needs to find a way to charge hard, find a way to close up 4/10 in the span of a single lap. Because there's nobody wrecking, nobody's going around. We're going to make it back to the white flag presented by Whiplash Simcams. 1 lap to go.
This race is official. We'll race back no matter what happens. There you see the top 2 and everybody else going to fill the frame. Kyle Heath, he's been begging, he's been chipping away at trying to get a win all season long. It's going to come down to the final regular season race of the season. All he's got to do now, Zach, get back in the gas and drive it around to his first checkered flag in the BRB Racing League. Kyle Heath is a BRB winner across the stripe here. He gets it done in the Gilbert Fleet 250 at Miami.
What a way to end a race.
Chaos ensues in the background. Cole Lewis still driving around on the final lap of the race. He'll come around to take the checkered flag in 13th position. Still a solid result for Stock Caro in 12th and Lewis in 13th. Each of those guys putting together a solid effort here today, but I'd imagine the celebration is going to be huge in that 13 pit. Everybody coming down to wrap up the race and get back to their pit lane. There you have it. Race winner number 13, Kyle Heath.
What a race. What a drive. What an amazing showcase of ability for Kyle Heath. we have confirmation that Sam Dyer has locked himself in on points for the chase.
The celebration is large here on the front stretch. But it's all centered around that number 13. Purple's going to get it done here on the front straightaway at Homestead Miami Speedway. He's going to take that car to the garage and end a successful night here under the lights at Miami. And how much did the weather drop, Zach? How much did the temperature drop? Not much, actually. Only a couple of degrees. That track temp kind of leveled off as well. But look, a constant wind of 17 miles per hour out of the northwest. That humidity never dropped. It stayed humid all night long. Sticky out there. Just would not want to be there. I'll tell you that much. I do not like humidity like that. I live in it sometimes here in North Carolina and surrounding states. But I'll tell you what,
I'm right here with you.
I will leave the humidity to Florida. They can have it, but what a race for Kyle Heath. Leading the driver of the day vote. There's still some time to vote for Sam Dyer, Josh Parent, or Caden Perkins, but I feel like it's going to be a Kyle Heath kind of day here as far as the vote goes. Let's take a look at your unofficial race results. When it's all said and done, Kyle Heath up after leading 66 laps. He led basically from lap 100 to the end. So congratulations to Kyle Heath. He wins over Dustin Stallings and Brendan Maddox. Carl Pooler in fourth. He did everything he could, Zach. Don't want to skip over that effort. Fourth place for Carl is huge. 2 good results in a row for him after some troubling times to start the race off in each race. But boy, Carl Pooler starting to turn things around maybe as far as the results go. Just a little bit too late. A little bit too little, a little bit too late. Ray Walker, Caden Perkins, I will never not be impressed by that. 5 laps down in stage 1, Zach. 6th place on the results sheet over Dakota Camper, Josh Parent, Sam Dyer, who will make the chase here in season 4, and Josh Anderson to complete your top 10.
Rolling down through the rest of the running order, Braxton Skinner ends up 11th. Dan Stock-Caro brings it home in the 12th position. Colton Lewis ends up 13th, and he is the final car on the lead lap. Coulter Clark ends up 14th. Ronnie Osmer ends up 15th. Cameron Carden ends up 16th, 2 laps down. Then you have Cameron Carden is 4 laps down in the 16th position. Jared Hughes is 4 laps down, 17th. Andrew Rattel ends up 6 laps down in the 18th position. Wolsifer ends up 11 laps down, 19th. And then rounding out your top 20, it's Evan Patinko.
Zachary King, 21st position. Braden Van Wingerden, 22nd. All of these guys out of the race when it came down to it. Cody Dorsey, Zachary Brandvold, Johnny Wood Jr., your top 25. Dakota Bly, Cameron Gilmore, Jason Bottoms, and Scott Fritz round out your full field. Heartbreak for Scott Fritz. I felt so good, Zach. I said it earlier today on the grid even. Felt like it was a Scott Fritz kind of day. He was out 26 laps in. Didn't even make it through stage 1. He was doing so good. He was up at the front of the field. Easily could have contended for this win. He will miss the chase for the 2nd season running after being 13th, entering the final race of the regular season each time. I mean, he's just so close each time. But will leave here much worse off than he started tonight. Kyle Heath comes to the checkered flag first and wins here at Miami. Kyle Heath, a solid day for you. You weren't necessarily right there at the very beginning of the race. It took a little time. What was going on there those early stages?
Yeah, I don't know. I only had like maybe 15 minutes worth of practice, and I just did a league race here Saturday night. So, I know this track and I know how this car is. And I came into practice. I think I was on like maybe 16th, 17th quickest at the whole practice session. I was like, oh, this ain't going to be good. I qualified 7th, and I was like, you know what? I have a chance, at least a good top 5 finish I can see happening. And I picked up 2 spots very quick at the beginning, and running down the leaders. And Ronnie, he was fast pretty much at the beginning, and I got caught up in a wreck. I forget when, and I had like a minute 40 seconds worth of damage, and I was able to get it all fixed for those quick cautions that we had. I think actually at that caution we actually had, extra delayed green, so I was able to come in and get it all fixed. And from then on out, I found something, how to drive my car different, and pushing it really hard. And I actually, once I got the lead, it was good. Once I had the lead, it felt really good.
And it works out for you here tonight. I feel like since the beginning of the season, we've been talking about you always at the front of the field, always in a position to battle for the win. I recall specifically, I'm pretty sure I said it last week, we just feel like it was waiting on your time. Waiting. When's it going to happen? When's that win going to come? Here at Miami, did you feel like this was a race you had on your calendar, or was this a surprise to you tonight?
Well, I had it on my calendar because I really enjoy Homestead. I've had a lot of success here, and I was actually hoping last week was going to be it because there was another league I was in, and I basically dominated at Rockingham. I was like, you know what? I got Rockingham on my list, and then of course I pooped the chute on that one, and I spun my tires at one of the restarts, and I didn't have a good race after that. But tonight I was like, you know what? Tonight could be the night. I don't know. But like I said, when I came into practice session and I was like 16, 17 quickest, I was like, this ain't going to be good. I was like, something's wrong here. But I came out on top, and it's been a long time coming because I know I've always been there and battled up front and got plenty of stage wins, plenty of stage bonuses. Just I could not seal the deal to get that W.
Well, there you go. Kyle Heath, race winner here at Miami. 66 laps led. I have a feeling it's going to be the most of the evening, or at least close to it. This, of course, you were already walked into the chase. Call your shot here. Of the 5 races left this season, of the 5 races that you have to fight for the championship here this season, which is the best for you? Where can you maybe go for a second win this season?
I don't know. I have to go look at the schedule. I got so many schedules on my brain, it's not even funny. So
hey, I can bring it up here, graphic on screen,
yep.
If you can see that.
Yep. Let's see here. I hate Chicago Street Course, but it's a good road course for me. Nashville. I think all these races are going to almost be a crapshoot. I think the last time I actually raced with these cars would be at Las Vegas. So Las Vegas might be the best shot for me to actually get another W.
There you go. Could be the championship finale. We'll see. Kyle Heath getting it done here at Miami. Congratulations, and hopefully we're talking again soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
A big race win for Kyle Heath here. This solidifies why he's in the chase, Zach, and he does it over 2 of the hottest drivers right now, Dustin Stallings and Brendan Maddox, the first of which is ready to talk to you.
Absolutely. And gotta say, after what was a pretty dominating performance, if I do say so myself, you ran up front, you won both stages, still came home second, 1 spot short. How you feeling walking out of this one?
I feel pretty good. I pretty much threw everything except the kitchen sink at it on that last restart. Kyle just got a better jump than I did, and he got a far enough gap to where I couldn't really close up any of that gap up there. But I was making ground on him coming to the white, and I just brushed the wall coming out of turn 2. And after that happened, I was like, yeah, there's no shot. But overall, I felt like it was a pretty good race. I feel a lot better after how the night went than I did going into it. But it was pretty fun. I really enjoyed racing around Kyle there, especially early in the 3rd stage. Me and him were just kind of neck and neck. Like, he would pull away and then I would close it back up and just back and forth. But definitely happy for Kyle. He's been, a win was coming to him at any point this season, and happy to see that he finally got that. Well deserved for sure.
Absolutely. And walking out of this one, do you think there's really anything you could have done realistically different that would have been able to give you that win? after leading for so much for so long?
To be honest, I know when we were starting pit cycle under green, which would have been the last stop, I kind of went in before Kyle did just to try to undercut him, and I probably could have waited because of just the ill-timed caution, but I kind of lucked out and got the lucky dog with that same caution, so it just hurt me with having to start at the rear of the field behind all the lapped cars and stuff, which I was pushing, trying to get by all those guys, but I think I kind of used my stuff up there, and other than that, I don't really think I could have done much different. It's just the cautions fell when it kind of benefited Kyle more, and I was just trying to get my way back up there as quick as I could. But I'm happy with where I finished. I felt like I'm pretty content with it, and so it's just going to next week.
Well, you gave it your all. You did what you had to do, and you're still walking out of here with a great position, a great finishing position, and you're rolling in top seed into the chase. Congratulations.
I appreciate it. Definitely put in a lot of work this season. Definitely made some changes between last season and this season, but I'm sure it definitely shows. But I know I still got stuff to improve on and kind of correct here and there, but it's been super fun. I think after tonight, I'm pretty sure I locked up the regular season championship, which that's definitely a huge accomplishment for sure. It's been really fun battling with like Ronnie and Johnny, Kyle Heath. I think Christian Barnes has been kind of showing up toward the front lately, and there's honestly quite a few guys that has improved pretty I wouldn't say substantially, but a good amount, and it's nice seeing those guys that's improving and new faces coming up in the top 10, top 5. But just super proud of the team. We've been, I would say, putting the nose to the grindstone, I would say, but it's been paying off. It's just going in 1 week at a time and controlling what we can control, and if anything happens that kind of puts us behind the 8 ball, just if we're able to keep going and not a ton of damage that'll end our night, we just keep going and make the best of it.
10-4. Well, again, man, congratulations. Rolling out of here with a good finish. Rolling out of here with a great looking spot into the chase these next 5 races. Hopefully we'll see you looking good going into the next few rounds of this chase. Congratulations.
Appreciate it, buddy. I also would like to give a shout out to you guys doing the broadcast. I really enjoy going back and watching you guys put on this show, and y'all do a phenomenal job. It really adds some, I don't really know the right word, but it just makes it super fun and entertaining to go back and watch these things. Then give a shout out to my teammates, Brendan. He had a great showing tonight. Super proud of him, especially with how he was feeling with practice and stuff. He definitely earned it for sure tonight. And shout out to Mason Houseman as well. He hasn't been here. He's been in basic training. Hope he's doing well, and hope to hear from him sometime soon. Also, shout out to the admins of the league, all our sponsors, partners, everybody that makes this thing happen. It's super fun to be a part of this. And then shout out to Kyle Heath again for getting the win. Well deserved, earned it. Everybody else I ran around, it was super fun. I really enjoyed this one. But shout out to my wife and my 2 daughters as well. Loved them to death and wouldn't trade anything in the world for them. Mean a lot to me. And most importantly, shout out to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And I believe that's it.
Well, congratulations, Dustin, on your second place finish tonight. Hopefully we'll be talking to you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Andrew, that was Dustin Stallings, second place finisher on the night, and I believe you've got your third place finisher standing by.
That wasn't just your second place finisher, that was your regular season champion, Dustin Stallings. But let's go on down to his teammate, Brendan Maddox, who ends up third place. In all of that, Zach, I should say, Brendan comes home third place. First of all, I got to ask, what happened there to turn 4?
With the 15?
That'd be it.
Well, I guess I hit a bump or something. I don't know. I bobbled loose, and I think I tried to chase the back end and just got into him. I mean, I came right over the radio and apologized. I knew as soon as I got into him, he was going to go around, and I thought his race was done, truth be told. I didn't see him hit the wall and everything, but, you know, just the nature where those hits normally happen and that stuff, it normally does not allow them to keep on continuing. So I knew exactly what it was my fault. I just said we don't even need to review it. I just bobbled and got into him. So, I apologized to him there. I think I hit a bump. I went back and watched it, and I didn't see a bump or anything, but my wheel bobbled, and I chased the car up the track a little bit. So maybe there's a little bit of aero at play too, just how our cars were positioned. I'm not sure, but something got me loose, and I chased it, and I hit him in the back end. So, that's on me. He was making a clean pass there.
Well, after a night where you occupied every single position in the field from 1st to 29th, you bring out a brand new paint scheme. It looks really good under the lights. What's the story there?
Well, the story there, so Zach, my brother, and I, we decided to get into the, I guess you're going to call it the template or the wrap world for iRacing, where we do still do like paint schemes. You can still contact us and we'll make a paint scheme for you with your logos and everything on it. But on top of that, we're selling wrap templates as well. So the car that I'm running here tonight is one of the templates that will be available soon. It's not quite ready yet, so part of that process was me putting it on a paint scheme and running it. And so it's MX, it's mxdesigns.com, but there's a hash, I think is how you say that, right in between the MX and the word designs. So you got to make sure you put the hash in there, otherwise you'll end up somewhere else. But that's our new website that leads to where you guys can purchase these templates at. And we only have a couple there right now, but it's going to be an ever-growing library as we continue to do paints.
mx-wraps.com, a hash, a dash, a hyphen, whatever you want to call it, mx-wraps.com, where you can go for all of that. Brendan, thank you for your time. Congratulations on P3, and hopefully we're talking to you sometime soon in the chase.
Yeah, hopefully I can get a win here in the chase. Thank you guys for what you're doing. I certainly did not expect to be talking to you guys at the end of this night with starting a lap down and then putting myself almost a lap down with the drive-through, and then being a lap down whenever that caution came out in the long run. I was just barely ahead of Camper, so I barely, by the skin of my teeth, stayed on the lead lap there, and that right there saved my race. Otherwise, I would have been cooked. There's no reason I would have been up here, even in the top 5, to sniff a top 3. But thank you guys for what you guys do for us and everything you guys stand for here.
Congratulations once again. That's Brendan Maddox, who ends up, when it's all said and done, finishing third place here at Miami. Congratulations to all of those drivers up front, all the drivers who make the chase. Zach, quite a few drivers made the chase that I didn't really expect to do so when the season started. Let's go through the entire field. We can just bring up the points graphic. It's going to be the same 12. Dustin Stallings, Ronnie Osmer, Johnny Wood Jr., Kyle Heath, Brendan Maddox, Christian Barnes, the top 6, just to name a few.
Yeah, just a stacked field rolling into the chase. An absolutely stacked field rolling into the chase. I personally feel like this is going to be a really, really fun last 5 races for these guys. I think Dustin is going to put on an absolute great show, being that top seed. You got Johnny Wood Jr., Christian Barnes, rolling in there with 2 wins apiece. Ronnie Osmer, Gray Walker, Dakota Camper, Richard Wolsifer, they've all got 1 win apiece. And now you can add Kyle Heath to the winners list. So you've got, 8 different winners of your 12 drivers that are in right now? That's pretty good for me. I feel like that's a great way to roll out into your chase season. We've got some great races coming up.
Yeah, even with that winner to Gavin Rogers, we spread the wins out big time. 8 different drivers in the chase with a win, and they're all going to get reset based on stage points and wins and everything. It's going to be interesting to see where these guys end up. But I should say stage wins and race wins and whatnot for the bonuses they can get to seed themselves in the chase. And we'll unload at Nashville in a week and see exactly where everybody stands. But that'll do it for us here at Miami, Zach. As far as the on-track stuff goes, something we have not yet talked about this evening, our partners with the series, the Buttkicker, Ascendance Trucks, Idealis, Sundance Pizza, Performance Food Group, Maddox Graphics, and of course the presenting partner of tonight's race, Gilbert's Fleet Service. And a big thank you to our partners here at the channel, Whiplash SimCams, ATVOs, CSC's Business, Cody Williams Design, and Lucky Performance, and the North American Racing League. Speaking of the North American Racing League, we can finally end the driver of the day vote. It is going to be Kyle Heath, driver of the day here at Miami. I'm going to keep Lucky Break of the Day on Josh Parent. He still gained 12 points on Sam Dyer. I'm going to leave that one in. That's just me. Maybe you have a different one on mine, but that's where I'm leaving that.
I can't disagree. I think he had some pretty good lucky avoidances throughout the entirety of the day. I think it's well-deserved.
There you go. Josh Parent getting Lucky Break of the Day. Boy, what a day here at Miami. Next up, we head out to Nashville, but in between now and then, we also head to Donington Park for the North American Racing League this Thursday evening, August the 14th. Then Sunday, we head to New Smyrna Speedway for the Major Series with the World Series of Asphalt. And next Tuesday, it's out to Nashville Super Speedway. Keep an eye out for these broadcasts and everything else Pit Stop TV going on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, and X. All on the links down below on the bottom of your screen now. Thanks so much for watching here this evening. That's going to do it for us, though, from Miami, Homestead Miami Speedway, that is. Zach, thanks for joining me. That's going to do it. We'll see y'all next time. Just wanted to get the hell out of here.
I hate to dine and dash, too, but I want to